Hey guys, it's Matt from Media Rehab. I just want to let you know that we realize that you probably don't have 2 to 3 hours of your day to dedicate to listening to the show in full run, so I want to give you a little format and how you're supposed to listen to the show. We jump around a lot because we expect that you have a life and that you want to move on with it. So when you listen to the show, if you want to pause, just pay attention to your marker and get kind of close to where you were. Just join us back in the conversation, but try to listen to the whole show, because I think you're going to find a lot of things that you really like, and I think you're going to really be interested in what we have to say. So if you can only listen to 30 minutes a day, then listen to 30 minutes a day. We don't produce a lot of episodes, so you have a whole week to listen to what you want to listen to. And just remember, if you ain't down with Media Rehab, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
Welcome to Media Rehab. I'm your host, Cameron. With me, as always, is Matt.
Hello.
And we got a couple of other guests with us today. We've got Michael.
He's in the Navy.
Yeah. It's not a good thing. Thanks for having me, guys.
It doesn't matter. You're still serving our country with honor.
And you're home.
Exactly. You're home. We've also got Craig with us.
Not a naval man.
Craig is our resident video game guy. He is a seaman.
I am a seaman.
And like every other episode of Media Rehab, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up with Geektox.
Yeah, I think the hottest topic right now is the thing that everybody watches on Sundays now, Walking Dead in full stride. We had the latest episode. I thought it was pretty compelling. You had some characters show up that you hadn't seen before. Maybe you have. It's kind of, there's a couple theories floating out there. Did anybody notice the leader of that gang bouncing the tennis ball was that creepy looking dude from New Girl?
Yeah, he was the building super from New Girl. He wanted to get the threesome with Jess and Nick.
That guy is so creepy and weird. I hope he's a psychopath. I really do.
I don't think we're going to see him again.
I do. I think that's going to be a recurring thing. I think they're going to catch up to Rick and Michonne, or maybe show up in the next episode with Daryl and Beth. It could be anything, really. I just kind of like that the worst episodes are when they're in like the jail, or they're in the farmhouse, and it's just snoozing along because they write such terrible dialogue between each other. But the best episodes are when they're on the road and they're on the run trying to find a place to hide and stuff. I think that the next few episodes are going to be very exciting, and I think that it's going to lead to the ultimate snooze fest, which will be Terminus.
New Alexandria, Terminus, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be there by the end of the season. They've only got 5 episodes left in this run. And what you described earlier with all the Snooze Fest episodes are the pre-Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
The first half of every season. It's always just, you don't know if you want to watch it again.
I don't know. The last set was pretty freaking amazing with the governor and the tank and all that shit. I thought that the season finale on that was really good. The build-up wasn't bad either, but I thought that the way they opened this season was pretty fucking terrible, considering what they could work with. And I thought that they should have flip-flopped episode 2 and episode 1. And I didn't think that that they needed to give Carl so much screen time. I think it was kind of superfluous. It just really didn't do anything. They could have summed up that whole storyline of him realizing he still needs his dad in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
You guys.
Now, Craig. As someone who just recently caught up on those episodes and someone who hasn't been here to talk about them, what did you think of the first 3 episodes of the second half?
I enjoyed it. I'd really like to see more character development with Beth. I think Beth is going to be an intriguing character.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't think she makes it through this week because both Norman Reedus...
This is a spoiler alert.
No, to catch you up on the policy of the show, we don't ever give a rat's ass about spoiler alerts. If you haven't watched it, look at the fucking title of the show. It's Media Rehab.
There's an
if you haven't watched it, don't listen.
There's an episode called Still that airs March 2nd, I believe.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Beth and Daryl, who had left together or whatever. You know, there's she's hiding in a trunk of a car or whatever.
He put her there, yeah.
And he put her there, and he's got to fight off walkers. I think Daryl's coming to his end.
It's possible. That's been a pretty big theory of mine in the last week or so, is that Daryl is really the only expendable guy that they could really impactfully kill. And like Tyrese is... I have a theory on the show that there's only allowed to be so many badasses, and I think that with Rick, Michonne, now Abraham's on, Tyrese is picking it up. You've already got a group of pretty big badasses. I'd even include Carol in that, as far as badasses go. But the Daryl is the only guy who has no comic book substance, and up to this point, he's more or less been a hybrid of Tyrese and Abraham. And if they were really going to kill it, if they were really going to make this episode, like, really pull the heartstrings and really mess with you, they kill Daryl and have Beth find her way on her own.
And you have counter-arguments, too. You have the fact that he's not a character in the graphic novel.
Right.
So he could stick around.
He could.
You also have, if he dies in that episode, fighting off walkers, Beth's in a trunk alone, just sitting in a trunk.
Teach a very valuable lesson. Kirkman has no mercy.
Well, and here's the other thing. Both Norman Reedus and Emily Kinney, who plays Beth, are going to be guests on Talking Dead Sunday evening after the episode.
And they've caught on to the surprise guest thing we all figured out.
Yeah, I think one of the two are dying, and my money's on Beth because with the first half of the season going the way it did and the fan backlash to it just being slow, I don't think they're going to alienate an entire population of the fan base. You know, if Daryl dies, we riot.
Yeah.
I see Beth becoming a pivotal character, though.
See, I kind of agree with you, but with Daryl's one that goes until the end, I think. And with Beth can be someone that can transition to the badass that we're talking about.
Right.
But
I don't see Beth ever transcending the role that she's supposed to be filling. Like, everybody can't become a badass, otherwise the show just becomes
The badass dead.
zombie slaying party with Rick and Michonne,
You have to understand, too, that it's a zombie apocalypse TV show. So your favorite characters are going to die because it adds to the realness of the story.
They've killed off plenty of characters. They killed off Lori, and Andrea's still alive in the comic books. She's dead as shit now.
Those weren't popular characters, though.
Andrea's very much a popular character in the book.
Andrea is very popular among the fans of the books.
Yeah,
but nobody liked her the way that they took her on the show with the, I don't know what to do with myself. She was the helpless female.
I want to say that I don't know who the actress is, but I've seen her in other things, and I wanted to say that it was the directing. She acted like that, but then I watched a couple of her movies, and she's like that in like everything.
Mist.
Oh yeah,
The Mist. Exactly like that in The Mist.
Directed by Frank Darabont,
which also had
Dale and Carol
in it.
Yeah.
Well, we put out a challenge earlier last episode, and we asked you if you had any questions or you had something you wanted us to talk about to just ask us. And one of the fans of the show asked us a question about Lori. You never got to see the actual shot of Carl shooting Lori in the head, and he wanted to know if she's going to come back as a zombie. Now, I can answer this, but does anybody else want to take a shot?
No, I'll go ahead and I'll answer it. We're done with the prison, first off. Number two, that walker that Rick was stabbing in the stomach
Had a big Lori Potbelly.
Very, very distended stomach. I mean, he was full of Lori.
The other white meat.
Yeah. She's just like a chicken.
So, we're going to go ahead and move on and change topics. I think we all agree that you should be watching The Walking Dead, and if you're not, you're missing a very good time period. Doctor Who has been this kind of, I don't want to say recent because it's been around forever, but it's really been picking up speed in like the last 5 years. A lot more people watch Doctor Who now than ever did before.
Whovians unite!
I recently got introduced to the show, and I thought I was going to hate it because it was crappy graphics and pretty campy, and then I just kind of ended up growing to love it, and like it actually like sucks when they change the Doctor, but then every Doctor is completely different, and I really like the show. It's perfect because it'll never die because you can just change the actors.
Well, and then when he hit his last regeneration, they rewrote the storyline to give him more regenerations because of the events of the 50th anniversary special.
Which is cool. I mean, I think BBC's got their hands on a gold mine. I really don't ever want to see it come to an American producer. But, I would say this question. Who's your favorite Doctor? I think mine so far was Edelman, honestly. Does anybody else have anybody that they really liked?
The whole series, or just
the whole series?
Well, the robotic dog?
Oh, with Kanon.
K9 was awesome to me.
Yeah, he was. I think he was hooked up with the Fifth.
Yeah, the Fifth. What was her name? There was
Sarah Jane.
Yeah, he left the newer, updated version that he had fixed.
Oh yeah. Season 9, where it was inside the school with the headmaster.
Yeah, with
Anthony Michael
who
Head.
played Giles.
Yeah,
and Buffy.
Yeah, Anthony Michael Head was on there, and they brought back Sarah Jane. And yeah, you remember the ones where they were floating upside down?
That show really is a catalyst.
Oh, man, it's really great.
And think about it. David Tennant playing the 9th Doctor, who is my favorite, by the way. David Tennant...
He was really cool.
He was Barry Crouch Jr. in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Barry Crouch Sr. was the guy. He played the guy in Doctor Who created the Cybermen.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really cool.
And so then they end up a couple of years later, playing father and son, and now Barry Crouch Sr. passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did.
So, we're not going to get any kind of... we're going to get Cybermen episodes, but they're not going to continue on that alternate reality where the Cybermen had taken over.
But that's nice of them. I mean, that's the Honor the Dead thing, yeah.
And Danny, a new character.
Yes, the male companion.
Yeah.
I'm using air quotes. You can't see him, but
good job, buddy.
The new companion. He's joining Jenna Coleman and Peter Capaldi inside the TARDIS. It's very interesting because he's kind of got that Mickey vibe to him because he's a Cockney African American, but he works at the same school as Jenna Coleman.
He's not an African American if he lives in another country.
Oh, he's black.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm with Cameron.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's an African Brit.
There you go.
It should be interesting too because they've worked together before. They worked in a soap opera of some sort.
I didn't know
before.
that. That's actually pretty.
So yeah, it should be interesting to see them two together. I'm gonna try to get into the show, but
A soap opera?
yeah, it was a soap opera.
I would recommend just starting from the beginning when they came back with Christopher Eccleston.
I agree with that.
I mean, Rose Tyler, one of the favorite companions of all time, and it's awesome because Eccleston had such a darkness to him, but he could also be lighthearted and sweet.
And she was so sexy.
You know what? I found a reason to not find her sexy.
The herpes on her lip.
Yeah, it's the first thing I locked eyes on her from that
Damn
point
you,
forward.
high definition.
High def really fucked her on that one.
The TARDIS can get rid of that, can it?
I'm actually really excited for the return. I was excited for the 50th anniversary because you had the three doctors, John Hurt, David Tennant, and Matt Smith, show up and work together to prevent the demise.
I'm very interested in seeing what Peter Capaldi has to offer. I didn't think I was going to like it, and then I saw him. And then that little quick blip they gave you, I think, I'm really going to be interested. You know what? I think I'll be more interested to see what the older kind of... He's not, I don't want to say gruff, but he's got that kind of... aura about him, like
Dr. House. I want him to be Dr. House.
Absolutely. I had a discussion with a friend the other day at Starbucks about presents. You can put anyone in a suit and give them a bow tie and comb their hair and call them the Doctor, but you have to have a presence with the character, like House.
Oh yeah.
Anyone could have played that character, but there's a presence that character needs in order to be successful. And until I saw, a couple of the new ones. The guy's got it.
Well, watching the 50th anniversary special, and I'm getting goosebumps right now when all the doctors are flying in. They're like, "Oh God, there's 12 of them," and then the assistant goes, "No, there's 13," and you just see the shot of Peter Capaldi's eyes. The fanboy in me was just, man. And then you had Matt Smith's final episode, the Christmas special, where he regenerated into Capaldi.
Cough, lame, cough.
It was such a great final couple of minutes of Matt Smith where he's talking about, I'm always going to be your doctor. Because the show
of Christmas.
The show didn't really start to pick up in America until Matt Smith took over. He was the youngest doctor in history. He's kind of awkward looking, but a lot of fangirls find him attractive.
And what a transition, man, to go from him to Peter Capaldi. That's a really big risk on their part.
But here's the thing. After the events of the 50th anniversary special, you need an older doctor, a little wiser, a little more hardcore, because now they're searching for their planet. They're searching for Gallifrey, because it's lost somewhere in space and time. And it was the events of the 50th that led to the explorations, which then led to Capaldi getting the job.
Which ultimately led to him disliking the color of his kidneys.
Yes, my kidneys. I don't like the color. Brilliant line by Capaldi. And I'm excited. I think it starts in October or November of this year. I just can't wait.
I think we're going to end up watching the episodes as they come out.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to follow it pretty religiously.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
One thing I do like about the show is how they don't. I want to discuss something. It's something that we're going to bring up in the show often. We've probably done it before, but I don't remember exactly. There's a dilemma that comes with TV shows or with cartoons or anything like that. It's called the Dragon Ball Z dilemma. We like to call it going Super Saiyan. And a show can be really awesome and compelling, and it's building, and there's the training aspects or whatever, and then they hit that climax, which is the Super Saiyan, And then something happens when you do that. What happens is that now you've eclipsed into that ultimate power zone. The problem is you're still writing content, and the build-up's not there anymore, and so now you have to go over the top every single time to make it impactful.
Super Saiyan 3, man. It's the only reason it's around.
It was ruined. It was
Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 4.
Dragon Ball Z ruined it almost immediately when they made Trunks a Super Saiyan, and within episodes, like, it never even went back to the other guys fighting, and then Goku shows up as a Super Saiyan. No, it went right to Super Saiyan is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Because once you hit that power, you can't, it's like, well, Super Saiyan's supposed to be this ultimate power, and there's like one every million years, and now there's like 12 of them.
As a dead set fan on DBZ, it went downhill directly after Cell Saga.
I thought it was even dragging during Cell Saga, honestly.
Cell Saga kept the epitome of the show, which was to drag it on because you wanted to see how it ended.
Right. And it got Gohan, the young guy, trying to go on and
he went
win.
super badass Teen Gohan, which rocked.
Yeah, Teen Gohan is one of my
Goku
favorites.
finally dies.
Yes.
Dies.
Dies
And that
permanently.
hits anyone who's a fan of the show hard, because you're just like, oh, I've been following this little fucker since Dragon Ball, and now he's gone.
Well, they had that nice little nugget in there where you could be wished back to life, which is pretty freaking convenient. You know, if you could like go out and do something retarded, but you knew you could be wished back, you would do a lot more dumb shit. Like, I would totally go skydiving if I knew I could just be summoned back to life again.
But you have to wait for them to find all the balls.
I'd kiss the Hoovian with herpes, because I had a Dragon Ball. I'm like, I wish for no herpes.
Billy Piper.
So, when a show goes Super Saiyan is ultimately when we feel like the show's just about to become unwatchable. It's almost impossible. It's like the jumping the shark of today.
Yeah,
and
it definitely is jumping the shark.
And that's what I like about Doctor Who, is that it never as over the top as they go, it never feels like they go Super Saiyan.
Question: jumping the shark?
Yeah.
The Fonz.
Happy Days, when the Fonz wearing the leather jacket, and he's water skiing and he jumps the ramp over the sharks. That was when Happy Days went down.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not as old as you.
You can call it nuking the fridge for anyone who's wasted time watching Crystal Skull.
God, why?
Oh my God! Yeah, Aliens, Indiana
That's
Jones.
a whole other show, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, Shia LaBeouf. Go fuck yourself.
I hate him with a fiery passion. I hated him in Holes. I'll always remember him.
Which was a great book. He ruined that character for me.
I'll always remember him playing the handicapped guy in True Confessions. You remember that Disney Channel movie where he was mentally handicapped, and he had the sister who was all like, "I don't like him," and he's just like, "The water's wet. The water's wet," and he's just. It was like Gilbert Grape without morbid obesity.
I'm going to be honest. I thought that was his biography.
No, Nymphomaniac is probably his biography.
Well, that is just wow. So I'm just going to change speeds before that devolves and it gets even worse. WWE has been really prevalent in our household lately. There's been a lot of really good stuff to watch, and then we have some positive things to talk. We have WrestleMania to talk, and then we have I want to get it out of the way. Feed Network turned out to be such a huge pile of dog shit. And
don't even.
It was just the worst pile of crap, and I wouldn't even suggest buying it. I wouldn't suggest doing anything with it. You can't. They already charged us, even though we got the free week.
Yeah, I signed up for the 1 week free trial. They've already charged me $9.99, and the network launched on Monday.
You could say that WWE tried to go Super Saiyan, full head battle, and forgot to bring sensu beans.
Yes, exactly.
It's not even operable. The live stream can't handle any kind of mass watching. It completely ruined NXT Arrival, which was a great
fantastic show.
You can't watch any of the downloadable content. It all stalls. They have like all their. It's just funny because all of their loading screens, all of their self-advertisement works just great, and then all the stuff that you try to watch doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
It's just a worthless pile of crap, and they are totally not ready for WrestleMania.
I got charged $10 for a beta, is basically what it is.
They never beta tested it, and it's just a huge chunk of shit.
They've only got something like 700,000 subscribers, and, you know, if even half of them watched NXT Arrival, they didn't release the numbers as to how many unique visitors that there were. If only half of them watched Arrival, I'm expecting a meltdown on WrestleMania, which is why I fired off an email to them with my displeasure. You know, I've tried watching it on 4 different devices. I couldn't even get it to run on my laptop, PS3, PS4, Roku box. It's It's
a WWE Network problem.
It's disheartening.
I think they put so much into the fact that you can get the pay-per-views for $9.99 a month that they, like you said, with the beta testing.
It should have been
not
product
beta
testing.
test something that you know you're going to get millions and millions eventually. I mean, I personally haven't bought it yet.
Immediately, you know you're going to get it.
Right.
Don't buy it.
Yeah, I have no intentions to.
I have never looked so serious about anything in my life. Do not buy it. Do not.
Those are some intense eyes.
It pisses me off to no end that I missed out on probably one of the greatest ladder matches to happen in the last decade because of their terrible network. I got stuck looking at fucking Tyler Breeze's stupid blue steel face.
It was the ultimate troll.
It was. It was like, oh, hey, here's Adrian Neville flipping off top rope, blue steel. Adrian Neville flipping off the top rope, blue steel. And that's all it did.
Error code.
And then I got error codes. And when you try calling their tech support to find out if something's going on, they gave me the tech support number for Roku, saying it was their issue, even though I can haul off and I can watch Netflix, Hulu. I can watch any of those streaming services on my Roku box with absolutely no issue.
But not the network.
WWE Network is our Kobayashi Maru.
They partnered up with the wrong people to bring this. They should have just spent the extra money, got hooked up with Netflix, and should have done it that way. But no, they get hooked up with MLB Network.
And here's what they ruined. They ruined the best momentum they've had for a long time. Coming out of Elimination Chamber, that was easily the best product they've put on in a long time. And they ruined the main event, but I said on the show...
It was still a fantastic main event. I did like the ending where they give you that false hope that Daniel Bryan would win.
Yes.
I knew that was going to happen, and I knew that they were going to go Batista Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Kane came out. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I do think there's going to be a stipulation added to the Daniel Bryan Triple H match.
Like
where if Daniel Bryan wins, he gets a WWE title match. If Daniel Bryan loses, he doesn't get another one for the rest of his career.
I think instead of doing this network thing, they should put more money into their video games. I mean,
they already changed studios.
Yeah, they changed studios. THQ went out of business, which is why the South Park video game kept getting pushed off.
The demo is phenomenal.
Comes out on Tuesday.
It's a great game.
I'm buying it.
Can't wait.
But THQ sold off all their assets, and Ubisoft acquired South Park, and 2K Games acquired WWE.
Oh, that's good.
So 2K Games hauls off, and they have to put out a half-completed product. Next year, once 2K gets a full 1-year cycle on it to be able to fix anything, it's going to be fantastic.
2K14 was good.
The 2K14 was a decent game.
I liked it.
But it's just... It pains me.
Nothing beats WCW versus the World.
No, yeah.
Hands down.
Hell.
Hands down.
I did like WCW NWO Thunder.
No.
For the N64.
That was good.
Old school Nintendo wrestling WWE with Macho Man.
Oh, WrestleMania 3.
WrestleMania for Sega too. You had Doink the Clown, you had Yokozuna, you had Bam Bam Bigelow.
I will always remember playing the Nintendo. Just I had like 6 moves, like you do body slam, leg drop,
You're just trying to get that bar to red so you can.
You've never hit the finisher, like you don't even know how to do it. But there was a couple of guys there was a couple of matches I think that happened recently. Some in Elimination Chamber and some at Arrival that I think really set the bar for how matches are going to start going on. I think that Triple H is really starting to see that these talented guys, we like to watch them. So I got a couple of matches that I want to talk about. The first one is Cesaro, Sami Zayn, the rubber match.
Oh, yes, Cesaro, Sami Zayn 4 from NXT Arrival. For those of y'all who didn't see it, there's a 2 out of 3 falls match that happened in NXT back in August. Match of the year between Antonio Cesaro and the former El Generico. I see you with the air quotes over there. What's your match of the year?
No, that hands down that was the match of the year. But the whole because it was took place at NXT, it can't be the match of the year.
Yeah, because nobody saw it.
Correct.
Well, there's ways to see it, and one's not through the WWE Network.
No, because you'll end up getting error code -1 general socket error anytime you try to watch it.
Right.
Bullshit. The other match I want to talk about is the 3-on-3 matches, the Shield versus the Wyatts, which I thought was just incredible.
Sitting there watching the beginning of that match before they had even threw a punch or done any kind of moves, and it's just the two factions standing there in the middle of the ring, and the crowd was awesome in Minneapolis. this is awesome, even before they had done anything. I have yet to see anything like that. You
can't say that.
It's not on the scale of
it's
Hogan.
never happened. That's
it's not
never
on the
happened.
scale of Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania.
Even Hulk and Stone Cold tag team?
No.
It's not on the level of Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania in Toronto, where the two of them are just looking at the crowd and they're Hogan, Rocky. But just to see these guys who weren't even on the main roster a year ago,
They come from NXT.
they came from NXT, they were hired by Triple H. All of a sudden, they're the second to last spot on a WWE pay-per-view, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year because it leads you to WrestleMania.
They weren't the second to last spot.
Oh yeah, they weren't. No,
They were
there was a
middle of the
Divas
card.
match. I forgot about that.
It stole the show. The way they had that match going on, and the way they ended it, where Bray Wyatt took Dean Ambrose out into the crowd, and then they choke slam Seth Rollins to the table. It was just like they do the follow the buzzards. They have the
Run.
It was just bodies everywhere and just destruction.
It was a
so
systematic elimination of the Shield.
Which is what you expected from that type of match too.
cool. I didn't.
But
it was a great match. It was so good.
It's a little bit of foreshadowing that they're going to break up because they took
a
them
lot
out
of
one
foreshadowing.
by one, and I think we're going to end up getting a triple threat match at WrestleMania between all three members of the Shield because both of them are going to be pissed off at Dean Ambrose
For
for
the
not
US
getting
title.
Yeah, and they're going to put the strap on Roman Reigns.
Oh, they should.
I think that they should put it on Seth Rollins.
Rollins is probably going to be the one to break that. I love Dean Ambrose, but he's not done anything to impress me in a while. I've been
has
following this guy for years.
I just defended this. I just defended this with Mikey a couple minutes ago, and I don't see. Here's the thing: is that there's two kinds of guys in the WWE. You have stars and you have workers. Okay, and Dean Ambrose is the best worker. He's got the best mic skills. He's got good wrestling abilities. But here's the thing: the question you have to ask yourself is the real star the guy who does all the moves or the guy who takes all the bumps? And right now, he's taking all the bumps. He's taking all the embarrassing shots and things like that because he has a job.
Yeah, he
They've
knows
already
that he's
guaranteed
secure.
it. And they've got the strap on him. So it's like, here, listen, you have to take the job out role, but she's more or less doing voluntarily because these NXT teams get creative control of their own characters, which is brilliant. And you're getting a lot better transitions with the way those things work. But with Dean Ambrose, he has those skills where he can go out and he can basically be a villain to anybody. And he can make you furious at him. He can get cheap heat so easily. And the only thing that I thought that anybody should be talking about is which match was better. Was it the Elimination Chamber triple threat match, or I'm sorry, the 3-on-3 tag team match, or was it Sami Zayn versus just Cesaro now? I love Cesaro. Like I said, I'm on the Cesaro bandwagon, and that guy is just an incredible athlete, and the match they had on NXT was jaw-dropping.
I think, I'm kind of at a toss-up. Better technical match goes to Cesaro Zayn. The more entertaining match goes to the Shield and the Wyatts. The best crowd reaction goes to Shield and the Wyatts. But the match that told the best story,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn versus Antonio Cesaro, because they pegged Sami Zayn as being this underdog for the entire build-up. He was injured and not sure if he's going to get the match, and Cesaro's on another level. And for Sami Zayn to be kicking out of whatever Cesaro threw at him, you did two things. You gave Cesaro another exposure for a match of the year on the network, which is one of the biggest stages that NXT's ever had. And you also made Sami Zayn look legitimate without hurting one of your main roster stars. If Zayn had come out and won that match, it does nothing for Antonio Cesaro except for break him down.
But with the NXT star, even though we all know who El Generico is, it doesn't mean that he gets to go over because nobody really knows who he is. And even though he and Cesaro have had matches throughout their career, they work so well together because they have worked well together in the past. And every time they get together, they bring out the best in each other. Those two guys, when they work together, they have the best matches. There's a few guys who have chemistry like that, and like Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Daniel Bryan, CM Punk.
Yeah,
I was just going to mention that. I would give those two the stature of CM Punk when it comes to running a wrestling match.
Macho Man Hogan.
Yeah, those are two guys that you're going to be able to depend on in a couple of years
Ric
when
Flair
the
and
Undertaker. only comes back for WrestleMania like he's doing now, 2 or 3 years from now, you're going to be able to give Cesaro a match against The Undertaker because he'll take care of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to give Sami Zayn a match against The Undertaker because he'll be able to take care of The Undertaker. Undertaker wanted Daniel Bryan. He didn't want Brock Lesnar this year. The WWE wanted Brock Lesnar. He just let them defer. Daniel Bryan's getting that match next year if Sting does not sign.
The thing the WWE is starting to realize is that they're going back to the old ways that they used to do things. Back when there was like 7 different organizations, you do 2 things. One, you create and build excellent talent. You can see that in parts of the Shield and the Wyatt family. And 2, you go to the indies and go get the best talent, which is where you get your Dean Ambroses, your CM Punks, your Daniel Bryans. And these culminations, these combinations, you get the great technical wrestling and abilities from guys who normally wouldn't have gotten picked up, and they get to teach these guys who are specimens that they select to put into wrestling, and you put them together, and then everybody starts to flourish. I think that you're really starting to see a change in the WWE, and I think that we should start being less detrimental, like that shitty crowd in Green Bay.
Oh my God, I hate Green Bay with a passion.
I have
They were
decided
terrible.
that I have to add Green Bay to my most reviled cities list, but in order to do so, I have to release a city. And so, in order to add that just fungusy cheese shithole Green Bay into the culmination of my hatred, I will release Chicago. Chicago has CM Punk. The Cubs get beat down enough, and you know what? It's cold and windy as shit there. So you know what, Chicago? I'm sorry.
Chicago is going to be a great crowd on Raw this week.
Oh, I think they're going to be excellent.
There are rumors flying around that CM Punk is going to show up, whether it be him returning to the WWE or him being in the crowd. But the resale price of tickets on StubHub has gone up because of that. This crowd is going to hijack a Raw more than you have ever seen an episode of Raw hijacked because it's Chicago.
Want Punk.
It's
Yeah.
going to be We Want Punk, CM Punk, best in the world. You're going to hear all these chants. And if I'm Vince McMahon, I'm dangling $1 million in front of Punk's face just to come out and just retire in front of his home crowd that way so we could put this to bed so you don't get the CM Punk's chants that start up at every event.
Well,
They started one in NXT.
that'll cause a riot, though. If CM Punk retires in Chicago,
I agree.
I think it's better to have an appearance by him than for him to just not show up at all.
I think this whole thing is a shoot.
it's a work.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
work.
Yeah,
It's a work.
I think this whole thing is a work. I think that the reason he's been on radio silence is not because he's contractually obligated, because he's been, quote, released from his contract.
He hasn't been released.
Yeah, that's the thing. That rumor came out.
Yeah.
That he'd been released. And I think that he's just on vacation.
And
instead of doing an injury angle, like he said he didn't want to do,
Right.
it's he quit for a little while.
Something that blew up Twitter, blew up the dirt sheets, it blew up everywhere. It was covered by major media outlets that Punk had walked out on the WWE.
and it would be believable because he's done it before.
Remember
Oh, yeah.
these words: pre-WrestleMania pop.
But where? Where does he go?
To WrestleMania.
What match does he get into?
Right.
It doesn't matter. He's on the card.
Yeah, that's you guys talk amongst yourself for a minute or two. I'll find a spot for CM Punk at WrestleMania.
But there's a lot of guys who I think lately have been really kind of proving themselves in NXT, and I had really disliked the Ascension to this point. They had this stupid Supernatural gimmick where they came out to this crappy, like over-the-top, gaudy music, and then we've got them coming out in NXT Arrival to this bad theme song, which I looked. It's called Revolution, and they took
nice.
off. Yeah. I had to go find it. I had to find out what that was, and they took out the stupid context, and they stopped doing the gaudy jackets. And Conor O'Brien comes out with just the Papa Pump style sheet metal or chain link on his chest, and then Rick Victor came out with his normal getup. They have that kind of getup like Christopher Daniels did.
Yeah, with the Eye of Raw.
But
on
now
their,
they're like they're like a Legion of Doom style tag
yeah.
team, and it's really cool.
It impressed me because we've been following the Ascension on NXT for a year now, and I can go back a couple of years.
You
with
kind of liked
Kenneth
them, and I
Cameron.
was panning them pretty hard.
Kenneth Cameron, when he was originally a member of the Ascension, it was around the time that The Dark Knight Rises came out. They came out, and Cameron would turn on the the light in his hand, and it gave kind of the supernatural appeal. And then Conor O'Brien would open up his mouth, and this beam would shoot out of his mouth of light because of all the fog that they had going on. Great gimmick until Kenneth Cameron popped a DUI and then punched Triple H in the face.
That's a good way to get fired.
That is definitely a good way to get fired.
That and be flabby like Chris Hero.
And then, oh yeah,
You suck.
Chris ate all the heroes.
Cassius, oh no, my bad. Who came up with that name? That's such a crap name.
KO, baby.
So, one of the things that I really wanted to talk since Craig's here, and
I found a spot for CM Punk at WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. None of the matches have been really exciting, and they want to give people an opportunity to sign up for the network, provided it works, and tune into WrestleMania. Bring back Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank, the return of CM Punk. That'll be his first match back, guaranteed title match. And then you can take the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and you can transition it to something else. Money in the Bank deserves to be at WrestleMania.
And you can split the titles back up that way.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do the Money in the Bank pay-per-view with only one Money in the Bank match.
Well, here's the thing. I've got a different idea, and I think that you'll see where I'm going with this when I explain it. He's been around. He's in every city, and he's not doing anything. He's not touring. He's just hanging out. I want to see CM Punk versus Y2J.
Yes, every pay-per-view, Chris Jericho's got something going around in that city. Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh, he was at the auto show that was there earlier in the day. The day before the Elimination Chamber, he tweets out, big snowstorm in Minneapolis, won't be able to catch a flight until Monday. And, that gets everybody going on the internet. They're like, oh my God, Jericho's coming back! And he deserves to be at WrestleMania 30.
Or going back to the Money in the Bank, you could always get Y2J in there with CM Punk.
Oh, yeah, Y2J, CM
I think they're going to try to keep that an independent pay-per-view.
Yeah, but
it's a poor idea.
Has or has not it been in WrestleMania before?
It has, yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
WrestleMania
also
21
got its
and
own
22.
main event now. It's almost like Elimination Chamber, like Hell in the Cell used to be. I think that it's got its spot, and they're going to keep it until they figure something else better.
But going back to splitting the titles up, that would be one way to do it. Do one now, do one later.
Yeah.
If that was what they're going to do, which I think they should just...
Or the Money in the Bank holder can hang on to that championship, and then you can have a storyline where him and the guy who wins at the pay-per-view in June...
Combine them.
They fight on who's going to cash in the title at first. Imagine, say, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are both holding Money in the Bank briefcases. One was won at WrestleMania, one was won at Money in the Bank. The champion's down. All of a sudden, here comes Daniel Bryan's music. And then Punk's music right after, and Punk's stopping him because he wants to cash in Money in the Bank. And then you can lead up to something between the two of them, and then we can get our 60-minute Iron Man match that we all want. I want that match. For control of Money in the Bank. Who's first in line to cash in Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to change the segment. I have a segment that I like to call the Gang Beebs. We all call it the Gang Beebs. I don't just like to call it that.
I hear he loves 4 of them.
That's kind of how this came about. Well, it's a game show now. It's not just pop culture. It's the unwinnable game show. You will compete against the questions to see who gets the most right, and you win absolutely nothing.
Hobo Crows.
Hobo Crows. First things first. Everybody's playing the game. We got Cameron. We got Craig. We got Mikey. Let me ask you this question. What 12-foot non-indigenous creature just washed up in the shore in Australia?
12-foot indigenous creature?
Non-indigenous creature. Yeah, like it doesn't live there. It's not a shark because sharks are there all the time. What 12-foot non-indigenous creature shows up on the shores of Australia? Think about what's close.
A giant Lego man.
Right.
A rubber ducky.
Ooh, that's a good guess. I do like that. No, sir, it is a fucking crocodile.
A crocodile?
Saltwater? Yeah, apparently they can cross the ocean. Yeah, it has to be saltwater. Just cross the fucking ocean. He's like, hey, I don't like it over here. Let me go ahead and float around and eat giant fish. He's 12 feet long,
Was it alive?
Florida doesn't...
It was alive. It was still swimming.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We're doing...
no. No, we call it like a 23-footer.
We call them iguanas here.
Yeah, we do. We call them iguanas. Or we call them Pez dispensers because they hollow them out and they throw their Roxys in them.
It's because we live in Newport Itchy.
There's more pills being smashed here than Dr. Mario.
It's a pretty terrible town sometimes. But it's about to get a lot better because I've got a topic for you to discuss. Taco Bell is coming out with a breakfast menu, and their first breakfast menu item is a motherfucking waffle taco.
The waffle taco is awesome.
Yeah.
Now I get to crap my pants 24 hours a day.
It is a waffle with an egg inside of it, with sausage or bacon or ham and cheese,
And it's drizzled
and
with syrup.
It's a waffle taco.
You know, people wonder why other countries hate us. There's people starving in other countries. They're like, well, they have the waffle taco, and
They're
I'm
all-
still eating dirt.
They're also doing a breakfast crunch wrap, which has got sausage and I think a waffle built. I think it's all built around waffles, which is awesome because I got the shits from Waffle House, and now they closed down the one right down the street from here.
But yeah, you go to Waffle House in the knowledge that you're going to have the terrible runs later.
Scattered,
it's like eating
smothered,
White
covered.
Castle. You just know you're going to go get ruined.
Well, I'm not a salt and pepper fan, but I do like rat turds.
Hey,
gross.
Hey, you know what? I'm the kind of guy that needs to be brought up at the Geneva Convention for a hate crime against porcelain every time I eat Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, Waffle House gives you the color of the shits that Sherman Williams can't even create.
It's going to create a new game though.
It's a whole paint panel,
It's going to create a new situation though. Here you are, 11 o'clock in the morning, and you have to find a clean shitter.
Good luck.
Taco Bell has the most immaculate shitters you will ever see.
No, Lowe's and Publix, man.
Could fall asleep on them.
Wawa.
Here's a question for you. For anybody that has kids, you have to pay the child support. You have to do it. Don't argue, don't fight it. Just do what you got to do. Mark Anthony's doing what he's got to do. How much money a month did he claim on his child support case?
$1.5 million.
Close, but no cigar.
I'm going to say 2.3.
No,
2.1.
no, it's $1.25 million a month. Mark Anthony.
That's almost a gigawatt.
Is he even
It's
still
almost
making
a
money?
Dude, he's apparently he's like basically Latino Elvis.
Yeah.
He's all over the Latin channels. Because I looked it up. I haven't seen him in a long time because he crushes the Latin market. So he makes an assload of money. But you know who's about to lose a bunch of money? Robin Thicke is getting divorced. Apparently, the open marriage is a sham. Say it ain't so.
Paula Patton, I'm available.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, Paula Patton, I think you're gorgeous.
She is a knockout. You see how wrecked up dude is, and he's doing concerts and standing out there like, I love you. Please take me back. I'm still wearing my wedding ring.
The only open part about our relationship were your legs.
Yeah, we can all agree that Robin Thicke's probably going to be the next Taylor Swift.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
God, no. Robin, son of Alan Thicke. Alan Thicke just water off of Doug's back, bro.
You let me down, son. You let me down.
Oh, and Alan Thicke's just like, hey, move on to the next one. Hey, Sherbatsky.
We brought this up the last time we played Gang Beams, but it's a different topic now. Everybody remembers Crazy Snake Pastor died. Coots, I think his name was,
Yeah.
which is ironic and funny. Well, his son is doing dumb shit his dad did. Is he using the same rattlesnake that killed his dad?
Yes.
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 He is using the same rattlesnake, which I can't believe that anybody. I mean, rednecks, yeah, with dude who suffocated in a half-submerged truck.
Damn wrestling fans.
I don't think I'll ever be in a position where I'll be caught getting killed by the same rattlesnake that killed my old man.
My name is Pastor Jamie Coots' son. You killed my father. Prepare to bite.
Would that be equal to the crocodile hunter's daughter swimming with stingrays?
Yeah, I would think so.
I'm just
By the way,
proud
is
that
Pindy
Raymond...
18 yet?
No.
No.
No. I cannot wait for that.
I know.
But have you seen her lately? She's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Another gorgeous person I didn't realize, Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Oh, Paulina
my
Gretzky.
God.
Oh, I follow her on Instagram. I've got a bottle of lotion just in the room.
She's a
Just
dirty
totally just... Yeah, no, Paulina Gretzky. Yeah, she's a knockout.
All right.
Like your mama.
What former funny man, a TV show host, was arrested for trying to sleep it off in a Canadian casino floor?
Former funny man and TV show host?
Yes. Silence is deadly. Take your guesses now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to say, what's his name from Full House?
No. It's George Lopez.
Oh, I didn't know he was still
Are you
alive.
sure that was him, or did he steal somebody
Oh,
else's?
it's all
Oh, that was
TMZ.
Carlos Mencia.
That was going to be my legit
It's
answer.
George Lopez.
Wow.
I didn't know he was Canadian.
He was doing a show. He's not. He's doing a show in Canada.
You said that Canadian TV show hosting Funny Man.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's Mexican.
That's why I thought
Well,
Sagan.
he's. Well,
No, you thought Dave Coulier.
Well, he's got a new
that's what I
sitcom now too.
I
so
did
it's
write these under the
trash.
influence,
Yeah.
so, I mean, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, he was doing a show in the Canadian casino, and apparently he had a few too many, and he just went to go sleep it off. Unfortunately, he was on the floor of the casino, like right in the middle of the slot machines and everything. It was just like, they got pictures. It's really damning.
You know what? I can imagine him telling a story to his kids in 2030. He's like, now, kids, this is exactly why that sign is at the casino. How I Met Your Mother reference. Sorry.
I met your Maja.
How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, that's the German version.
Hear me? So, I have some unfortunate news, but it's a question for all the bonus points to me. What highly anticipated movie is actually just a huge troll? By the way, I hate the internet.
Thundercats?
No, sir. That might be.
Good.
When's it coming out?
I don't have that.
Is it He-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
No,
They
sir.
already made a great movie in the 80s.
I don't even
guess
have
those-
anything here now.
Space Jam 2 is a lie.
Yeah.
Damn it!
That
Why
just
would you
ruined my
ruin
day.
a classic?
No, here's the thing. I had it all planned out. Okay, what ends up happening? The Monstars come back from Maniac Mountain, and they are like, hey, we own Earth. And they're like, no, you don't. We beat you. And they're like, oh, okay, put us in a one-on-one game against whoever you've got as the best. Cue LeBron James. LeBron James loses to the leader of Minion Mountain. And what ends up happening after that is LeBron gets called, not clutch. He has no heart. He's not the guy. And all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, here come the Looney Tunes. The Toon Squad show up and say, hey, yo, we beat you. And then LeBron ends up joining the Toon Squad. And then here comes Jordan. No, never mind. LeBron leaves the Toon Squad for the Monstars. I'm going to take my talents to Planet Pain, or whatever the planet was there. Jordan reunites with the Toon Squad. Toon Squad wins, and then at the end of it, cliffhanger, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James in a one-on-one basketball
Somebody
game.
really thought of this troll, like thoroughly, huh?
Yeah.
See, do you know who broke it? It was crack.com. And
was
you know
Crack?
how they
I know
how they broke
Slash
it?
Film.
You know how they broke it? They fucking asked LeBron. He's like, nah, it's not in production, but I would love to do it.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
said that many times before that he wants to do it.
So it's break time, bro.
All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a couple of minutes. You're not going to hear a thing except for the transition between by the time I get done with the end of this and when we say, and we're back. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. And we're back from our little bit of a break. Again, you guys didn't notice anything, but we kind of took about 15 minutes there. And now it's time for the segment that everybody knows, everybody loves. They love the story. They love us talking about it. It's time for Yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.
Just go back to the previous episodes if you want to know the story behind Yeah, Jeets, or you can just Google it. It'll make you laugh. So, Matt, what are we leading off Yeah, Jeets with?
Well, we saw this thing. What was it? Bryant Gumbel? Was it like the HBO Real Sports thing?
Yeah.
What? Diamond Dallas Page has kind of changed his career focus, and he's doing this thing called DDP Yoga, and it kind of looks like a scam at first glance. And then you look at what he's doing. He doesn't charge. He charges for the DVDs, but he doesn't charge to teach the class for free in his house. And he's got all these old wrestlers like Jake the Snake and Scott Hall living in his house, but they have to live like a completely like straight edge lifestyle. And it's just like basically like stupid flexing yoga. But you look at the guys who he's helping, like Scott Hall and Jake Snake. Jake Snake just got diagnosed with cancer. I think he'd had already been dead if it wasn't for like DDP Yoga.
Oh, Jake Roberts admitted in that Real Sports interview that he would be dead if it wasn't for Dallas calling him up and saying, hey, you're going to come live with me, I'm going to help you.
And giving him a second chance when he screwed it up the first time and zero tolerancing him.
And I think that it's wonderful in the culture of wrestling where we're so used to them dying, of either overdoses or the effects of overdoses. or from the past drug use, like Eddie Guerrero passed
and
away.
stuff with the heart. And
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that one of these guys is actually stepping up and he's doing something good with his life. There's the video that floats around on Facebook all the time of a guy, I think his name's Arthur, overweight, uses 2 canes. He was a paratrooper, and all the jumps damaged his knees and his hips, and he couldn't walk without the canes and the knee braces. And he started doing DDP yoga, and now he's running 5Ks.
Yeah, it looks great.
I think it's wonderful. It's people look at it and they go, oh, it's yoga, it's for girls, but
I did yoga for a while.
I mean, again, it's for girls.
How hard yoga is? Yoga's hard as shit.
Sitting. It's really strenuous.
Yeah,
and
and
you fart a lot. It's funny when you go into like groups and do it. It's just like you're like, oh, okay. Well, everyone's cool with it because everyone's doing it.
But I think it's great because he took yoga and he mixed it with like Tai Bo, and it's very low impact, but it incorporates a lot with the back. And Jericho has said that he used it.
Yeah, that was good. It helped him rehab.
And DDP used it himself. And the DVDs aren't even that expensive. I mean, I think it's $100, but you get like 25 DVDs, and it's workouts that you could use for the rest of your life.
And it's the backstory you really have to look at. I mean, if you can turn Scott Hall into a straight edge,
Oh my God,
a straight edge
He's
guy,
struggling, but he's got he's renewed his relationship with his son and all these other things.
his son's
Really cool.
training to wrestle, and he's there in his corner.
But you can get to that level with a guy like that. That really says something about what you're trying to do.
I do think that he does need to make one life change, though, and that's fire his plastic surgeon, because homeboy looks like Skeletor. He looks like Skeletor. He's creepy.
That son of a bitch used a diamond cutter on his face.
Him and Mickey Rourke are sharing cards.
Yeah.
Oh man, he is horrifying.
The wrestler wasn't fiction; it was all about Diamond Dallas Page.
The diamond cutter. They used it on his face.
So
Thank you, Craig. I just said that.
It's okay, buddy.
It's the new guy thing.
feeling.
No, but I do think that DDP Yoga is great, and it's just a matter of time before you start seeing him at 3 a.m. on ESPN Classic shilling this thing for only 7 easy payments of $49.95.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in getting into shape, if you have trouble moving, if you have back issues, anything like that, I recommend picking it up now while it's cheap. He went on Shark Tank and he promoted it to the thousands of people that watch Shark Tank, and he got turned down. Mark Cuban was very interested in it, though. And I think it's just a matter of time before he gets picked up by some kind of a distributor, and this becomes the new P90X.
I can see that.
Well, something happened in the last few weeks in the football world, and living in Tampa, we have a love of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Season ticket holders, baby.
Woo! We were watching NFL Network as they teased the piss out of it for 59 incredibly boring minutes.
59 minutes and 50 seconds.
To see the new Bucks logo and the new Bucks helmet. They got the larger flag. They changed the skull. It's a lot more streamlined. It's very cool, sharp. And I didn't hate it, and I didn't like it at first. But then I saw it on the side of Raymond James Stadium. They put up the big mural with it on black, and it looks awesome. They got the chrome grills on the helmet now. What do you guys think?
I think it's a very welcome change. I had no issue with the logo from 97 until now. But I do think that it's something where the artist who designed it was like, well, I could have done this, and I could have done that, and I could have done this. And this is just 13 years of hard labor kind of came together, and they settled upon something a little nicer, a little cleaner.
I'd like to ask a question. Why change it?
You have to change the feel of the team. If you remember when you came out of the creamsicle uniforms, you had this incredible stigma behind that uniform, and the whole identity change is basically wiping the slate clean. You're coming out with a different kind of feeling. Now you've got a coach who's really positive for the team. The team loves him. It's starting to reek of 97 when they started to really make that change and that push. We've got good talent, things like that, but that identity change, that image change, and so you get that whole new feeling coming up, building anticipation. Get ready because we're starting to transform.
And get people in the seats?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take winning for that to happen. But if you look at the timeline from when they introduced it's now the old logo to a couple of weeks ago when they introduced the new one, you look at it. We were a perennial bottom dweller Tony Dungy got hired. Then we started, winning. We went 8-8, and then we went 9-7, and 10-6, and we were getting to the playoffs, but we were losing in the first round. And then 2002, we kind of hit our peak. We won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then since then,
that's the peak.
and since then, what has happened? It's just been losing after losing after losing after losing. We couldn't get back to the playoffs. We haven't won a playoff game in over a decade.
But that was a bunch of staffing issues.
But yes, absolutely. Raheem Morris, Greg Schiano, piss poor hires.
Shiano.
But it's time for a change. And in the era where Nike has taken over, every team's going to have their logo cleaned up. It's just a matter of time. And what do? You do Jacksonville last year. Got great response, even though it's got a blue tongue, which makes no fucking sense
Looks
to
like
me.
a kitty cat. I don't agree
It
with
likes
that
blue
at all.
raspberry ring pops.
I just going to Seattle and now Tampa. Tampa coming out with the new jerseys
Wednesday, March 5th.
March 5th. Going back to the culture change, you want to get rid of out with the old, in with the new.
Absolutely.
Bringing in Lovie Smith and getting rid of Schiano. You want to make a change. Going back to the seats, adding seats. Yeah, you're going to want wins, but I think a new regime brings a new look.
I like what they're doing, too, with the way that they've kind of changed the game and picking all their coaching staff and then looking for general manager. I think that they're clearly establishing that the head coach is in charge of football and the GM is in charge of business.
See, this is one thing. This is an analogy that I've said to Matt a couple of different times. You remember in Hook, Rufio and the Lost Boys, how they were kind of just, it was like the inmates running the asylum, basically.
Bangarang.
This is what I picture, like, in my little fantasy world with the Bucks now. They were a ship that was captained by someone who was not capable of leading that ship.
Vane.
Now what do? You go ahead and you hire Jeff Bridges from White Squall, the very calming presence. The very calming presence. We are one of the youngest teams in the NFL. He's a very calming presence. He's that weathered sea captain, like in the middle of a storm, he's standing out on the bow like, I've seen some shit. And this is something that I have seen before, and I know just how to get us through it.
Jim, fetch me my shitting pants.
Ed pointed, that was a great Jeff Bridges impersonation.
And going back, Lovey's been to a Super Bowl. We needed that.
Yes,
That's something.
Lovey would have won the Super Bowl if he had started Kyle.
Here's what's brilliant, though, is that he takes a year off, he sits down, he figures out what went wrong, and he comes in, and one of his first hiring choices is Jeff Tedford. I absolutely think Lovey's got his shit together.
Brilliant hire by Lovie Smith, and that's why I think the Bucs are going to find a way to get Johnny Manziel.
I think I like all of his coaching selections so far. I think that adding Leslie Frazier, a player's defensive coach, into the system, he knows that he can work with the guy. I think that you're looking at an opportunity now where we have the coaching that we need, a thing that has been severely lacking since John Gruden left. And you're looking at these things that Tampa Bay always does. They always are just okay with serviceable. Raheem Morris is a serviceable coach. Greg Schiano is a serviceable coach. Phil Simms is Chris Sims is a serviceable QB.
Until he lost his spleen and he couldn't tell left from right.
Gradkowski, serviceable. Freeman, serviceable. Let's stop doing serviceable and look for excellent. And I think that with Lovie Smith and the coaching staff they've got now, and then they're doing the whole new look, new image, you're about to get a whole new Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this East region is going to change.
Now, Mike, I know that me and you have had a couple of conversations back and forth on Facebook about this.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of the Lovie Smith hire?
I like it because he's what I like to call the silent motivator.
Yes.
He's not the John Gruden. He's not the Greg Schiano. Schiano's going to defend his team from what he wants to defend it from.
Until he starts throwing his own coaches under the bus.
Right. And it to me, Lovie is the humble guy that this team needs, and with the new look and the new coaching staff, and to bring Leslie Frazier in here, I mean that's incredible. To bring a guy you coached against for 5 years.
I think the Bucs have over 75 years of total head coaching experience.
Yeah. This is going to be
on this roster. It's ridiculous.
Team. All these stupid penalties that you've been seeing happening are going to stop. with that elite. That's what you get with elite coaching is they get those stupid mistakes, those little mistakes to start changing. You're going to see less penalties. You're going to see more veteran leadership.
When you've got Tedford coming out and saying, "Yeah, I still talk to Aaron Rodgers at least once a month to help him." Go back to the basics of being a quarterback with footwork and timing and awareness. When he's still talking to Aaron Rodgers, who's won an MVP and a Super Bowl, it shows it speaks volumes for the kind of man that Jeff Tedford is.
And I love I have control of the team. Jason Light is here, but Lovie Smith is going to put this team together. He's going to make the moves. He's going to get rid of the offensive line. He's going to bring in another quarterback. He's going to do things like that. That is going to be what stands out about him and what he's going to do for this team in the future.
What do you want to do about things with this team? What about free agency? I mean, you've got a lot of potential targets. I mean, my guy Kraken just got a franchise tag, but you still have guys like Jared Allen and Peanut Tillman and some other really good, talented guys who have some coaching links to the Buccaneers now. I mean, with the changes in free agency, we got a lot of cap room, and there might be some more coming.
We have approximately $20 million in cap space.
Plus 10.
Now,
it just went up.
That's what I'm saying, approximately $20 million. It was 19 when it was a $128 million cap, and now it's up to $133. So, we got like 23, 24 million. I would like to see the Bucs go after something of value. Not, don't break the bank and go after a guy like Jarris Byrd. Yeah. Don't break the bank and go after TJ Ward or anything like this. You want to get these guys who are coming off of injuries or off of unproductive seasons that have proven themselves in the NFL. These are the guys who, they show up day in and day out. They're consistent. I don't want to see a guy come in that got 18 sacks last year but only averaged 3 per season the previous couple. That's why I think a guy like Andre Roberts from Arizona, who Jason Light has a relationship with, would be a great third receiver addition to this team. He'll come on the cheap. He'll be a couple $1 million on a 1-year prove-it. He's going to go out and he's going to give his everything to try to get a big contract. And that's what you saw with Jeremy Maclin signing earlier this week with the Eagles for $5 million. He's hedging his bets that he's going to be good next year. This is what I want. I want a guy like Peanut Tillman who knows he's not going to command big money. He's going to come down here on the cheap to try to leave a legacy, the way that Ray Lewis left a legacy in Baltimore.
We can still offer a better contract anyway with comparable money because we don't have the state tax.
Yes, absolutely. If San Diego's offering you $12 million a year, we can offer you $9 million, and you're getting the same amount of money because we have no state sales tax. That's one of the big selling points down here.
That's how we got Vincent Jackson. That's how we got...
I think that's how we can get guys like Jared Allen is my new favorite target.
Yes, Jared Allen's going to be a very good one. I've got another one. He's a young guy, but he's done it. He's shown flashes of brilliance. Everson Griffin.
Oh,
he was the other defensive end from Minnesota. Everson Griffin, he's not that guy that's going to light up a stat sheet, but he's been consistent. He gets 3, 4, 5 sacks a year, and he's a guy that you can get on the cheap.
I want legendary firepower, though. I want us to bring in a huge name, sell jerseys, especially with the idea that Darrelle Revis might be on the outs.
Right.
Yes, and that's where you might be able to get some money, is when it comes to the Darrelle Revis contract. I mean, it's $16 million in cap space. That puts the Bucs at $36 million, roughly, below the cap. With that, you know what? If the Bucs were to cut Revis tomorrow, I would love for them to dangle 2 first-round picks at New Orleans, because they put the non-exclusive franchise tag on him, which means the Bucs can make a contract offer. If the Saints match it, he stays with the Saints. If the Saints don't match it, we give up this year and next year's first round.
Mad as hell too.
Jimmy Graham is not happy.
Because they're not paying him the wide receiver, which he gets 64%. He lines up as a wide receiver.
The actual dollars, it's $7.1 million is the franchise tag for a tight end. The franchise tag for a wide receiver is $12.3 million.
significant difference.
It's $5 million that we're talking about.
Who catches your touchdown passes?
How much do you make a year?
No comment.
But
Should have thrown football.
yeah, I wouldn't. Do I want to see Darrelle Revis go? Hell no.
No, absolutely not.
Because Darrelle Revis is still a great player.
It's good for the team, too.
Do I want to see the Bucks restructure his contract, kick him a little bit of guaranteed money, lower his cap hit, and get more money to bring in players?
Yes.
You're goddamn right.
They should do that.
He signed a 6-year, $96 million contract
That
last
could be
year.
negotiated every year.
So it's down to 5 years and $80 million. If you take that, you restructure it to the same 5 years, $80 million. You give him $40 million up front and a $40 million cap hit. You've just made $8 million in salary cap space.
Because he's healthy now.
and kept him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've kept him, and you've made him happy.
I mean, you just don't trade away the best player in the NFL
I
at his position.
would for the right situation.
I think
And I
you
don't
go
think that's
elsewhere.
true either.
Who
I don't
would
think
you
he's
get?
the best player in his position.
I would trade him to St. Louis.
They need it.
St. Louis needs it because they're going to let Cortland Finnegan walk. He's been off and injured. They can take on the salary cap hit of Darrelle Revis. And here's what you do. You take the number 7 pick along with Darrelle Revis. You trade it to St. Louis. And you get the number 2 overall pick and you recoup that 3rd rounder that you lose from the Revis deal.
Okay.
Not to mention you're at number 2. So when the Texans take Jadeveon Clowney, because it's not a secret, they're going to do it. There's no quarterback worthy of number 1. You can grab Johnny Manziel. You can grab Blake Bortles. You can grab any of these other quarterbacks that you want to see, rather than seeing if Jacksonville's going to pass on one, if Cleveland's going to pass on one, if Oakland's going to pass on one. See, there's 3 teams ahead of the Bucks that need a quarterback, and they could easily take Bridgewater, Bortles, Manziel, and then you're stuck with what? Derek Carr?
And you can mold a great quarterback.
Yeah.
If you have the right coaching staff, you could make
Tedford's that
something
guy.
Great.
And I'm not gonna jump on the Mike Glennon bandwagon because personally I don't like the guy.
Are you a member of the Glennon mob?
Neither does Tedford.
I'm not, but again, to what Craig said, you can mold a quarterback, and he is big. He's mobile.
He's not mobile.
If
Sort
we,
of.
he can
He
move.
runs like a fucking.
He's
He runs
not-
like a bison.
Do the defensive ends have sharp talons?
He's not Johnny Manziel.
I do believe McNabb ran like a bison too, but
No.
he could get out of the pocket and throw.
No.
No, he couldn't. He got his ass kicked.
Here's the thing. Donovan McNabb had functional mobility.
Until he got his ass kicked.
Mike Glennon has dysfunctional mobility.
Just scrambling. Oh, God, please don't hurt me.
Yeah. I can tell you games that we were at last year when Glenn would break contain and get outside the pocket. We were like, "Oh Jesus Christ, what are you doing,
It
kid?"
was like Freeman.
Fall down, kid. You're going to die.
Yeah,
It's like watching Little Giants.
no, it's worse than that.
Talk about worse than that. I mean, the UFC has been putting on some pretty bad snooze fests. They have the lately it's only been like Ronda Rousey title fights like every other month, and it's just fucking stale now. The only person I care about Ronda Rousey fighting is Cyborg, and there's a rumor she's coming out of retirement to fight her. But the UFC has a middleweight title. It's currently held by the guy who just dismantled Anderson Silva by breaking his leg. I think his name's like, was it Weissman or Weidman?
Weidman.
That's
Weidman.
a meme.
Yeah.
Well, he was scheduled to fight Vitor Belfort, and just like everybody can anticipate from Vitor Belfort, it's been the story of his whole career. He's doing some testosterone therapy to recuperate a leg, but under the new Nevada Athletic Commission laws, he has to withdraw from the fight because he needs more time to heal. So they replaced that fight with Lyoto Machida.
That's cool.
I thought so too, because one of the things that really pisses me off is the UFC kind of chooses the wrong fights to highlight. And they put on the Ronda Rousey title fight, which is, it's a title fight, whatever, but it's against Ronda Rousey fighting another smush opponent.
Well, lately, I'd like to see a lot of the lightweight fights last because they're the most exciting lately.
Well, here's the thing, is that Lyoto Machida just fought this guy, Gayard Musashi, and he's from Strikeforce, and this guy's a Fedor-trained fighter, and he's really good, and he just beat him in a 5-round decision. It was a really good fight. It was arguably one of the best fights of the year. And so now you're going to get Lyoto Machida versus... and what it kind of works out is that Lyoto Machida and Anderson Silva are actually big friends, and they refuse to fight each other. That's why you never saw that match. And so what do you think, man? Which would have been better? Would it have been Vitor or would it have been Lyoto?
I think it's absolutely piss poor that the Nevada State Athletic Commission would ban TRT. which cost Vitor Belfort the fight.
They don't ban much, and for them to
Yeah,
ban
for them to
something
ban
like that,
TRT is ridiculous. It's for a medical reason. It's not like he's shooting HGH into his dick hole.
Which we still can't test for. Why don't you work on that? You know.
Yeah. I mean, we can test for testosterone. You set a baseline. You take the average of all the fighters and you say, okay, well, your testosterone level is at 95. You can't exceed or go below that. You need to be well regulated.
Here's the other thing too: is that he very well could have been ready for that fight. If you had to change, the thing is that he made an executive decision for Dana White. He stepped down and allowed them a chance to promote a different fight because they're still about a month out from the fight. And he says, basically, I might not be ready, so let's go ahead and remove myself. So what I'm thinking is going to end up happening is you're going to get a Vitor Belfort versus either Lyoto Machida or Weidman.
But it's going to have to take place in Brazil because they're not going to get sanctioning anywhere in America because apparently there's a stigma against having low testosterone.
They do it all the time. What
Then
would be
it'll
better
take-
than a Lyoto Machida versus Vitor Belfort in Brazil title match?
And they'll do it in Brazil, and they'll still pay-per-view it out.
Yeah.
They do it all the time. They have
Yeah,
Brazil fights
there's
all the
no
time.
reason that it
But
shouldn't.
and then you're talking about the possibility of having Lyoto Machida with his second title run in another division, something only Randy Couture's done. And you're talking about doing having another issue where you're having two Brazilians fight each other in Brazil for the title. It's awesome.
yeah, that would be great. And you know,
Assuming that Lyoto beats Weidman, which I think is possible. I think I actually lean in that direction. But Weidman's not to be underestimated.
and everything I'm hearing with that is that the similarities between Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida is why he's not going to win. And I honestly, if I had to go with something, I would go with Chris Weidman. If he can beat Silva, and yeah, he beat him once, and then he broke his leg. Meme.
Now let's say, where would that fight have gone if his leg hadn't broken?
Nobody knows.
Exactly.
Nobody knows. Everyone here in this room knows that I'm a huge Silva fan, but hands down, he beat him twice, and I think he'll do the same thing to Machida.
I love Silva's fighting style. I like his patience. He's got great fighting patience.
The thing that you need to look at, especially when you're talking about fighters, is you've got Lyoto Machida has a different style. Is that he doesn't do Muay Thai like traditional fighters do. There's no boxing aspect to it. It's strictly Machida karate. And with the Machida karate system, you're looking at a different style of counter fighting. He's basically trying to capitalize on your error. So stay at a distance, don't get hit, capitalize on an error. What you don't realize is that Machida is also a black belt level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and that if he takes it to the ground, he's still okay. So you're looking at options where Lyoto Machida can capitalize on the mistakes that Weidman might use, whereas he was trying to do more of a crash on Anderson Silva, which is a good strategy against him. That same technique will not work against. It's actually the death sentence against Lyoto Machida because he'll snap kick you right in the face.
Yeah.
What you got going on there, Cam?
Well, you know, something that we set out to originally do this show for. It was a big thing. It was a lot of discussion, trying to figure out exactly how we were going to format it. And I hate to take the topic off of sports because it's something that we're all very passionate about. But there's also something else that we're very passionate about.
It's been about a year in the making, yeah.
It's this time of the year. I mean,
Episode 1.
Today is March 1st, which tells me one thing. March Madness is coming. You know, the NCAA tournament, bracket style. We did this in episode 1. It's about time that we bring it back.
We've got 16 from episode 1. We're doing the supervillain draft. Okay, we're going through there and we're selecting the best supervillains from comics, movies, TV, and video games. And the first episode we went through, we had Rook on our podcast. He's our comic book expert. This time around, we've got Craig. Craig plays a lot of video games. He really likes to get in there and mix it up with a lot of. It's just a different opinion.
I read booklets. Like, that's how I collect them. I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Let's figure out the 16 that will compete from the video game side.
Let's do this shit.
Can I take the reins on the first one?
Well, for those of you who didn't listen to episode 1 or anything like that, what we're going to do is NCAA bracket style. We're going to go ahead and we're going to match up the top 16 villains. We're going to discuss it. If you've got any issues with them, please feel free to contact us. However,
We can modify.
we'll give you all that at the end of the show. What we're going to do is we're going to go around the room. We're going to nominate villains who should be on this list, and then we're going to take it to a vote. And if it ends up coming to a tie between Matt and I, like if Craig goes ahead and nominates somebody, Matt says no, I say yes, we've got Michael here. Mikey's going to go ahead and he's going to be a little tie-breaking vote. We're going to get to 16 of them, and then we're going to do a rapid fire where we try to get some guys on here. And if there's...
Like we did in the first one where we bump guys out if we think that they're
we'll
better.
be able to bump some people out, maybe have a play-in game. However, we just don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know who everybody's thinking of because we're all from different generations of gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we're all different kind of gamers too. Like I prefer sports games like FIFA and RPGs like Skyrim, and Craig plays Skyrim and like platform shooters and like hop 'em ups and stuff like that. And you play
I
like everything.
I like anything that has a good storyline.
That wasn't an old man joke, was it?
no.
Okay. Just checking.
No. I'm just saying we're all from different generations. Like, I mean, Matt and I are the PS3, PS4 era. Mikey's the Xbox 360.
I'm Sega,
Craig is
NES,
Sega NES. So, I mean, we've got a great little smattering of different concepts here. So what we're going to do, this is something unlike anything that we've done before.
That's exactly like it.
Well, no, I'm saying we're going to let Craig go first.
Oh yeah, well.
Craig,
All right.
who's your guy?
My first pick is Albert Wesker, Resident Evil. He's a Neo lookalike, stoic badass with some incredibly terrible one-liners, but I still
Yeah, they
love
are
him.
pretty bad. Here's my thing about Wesker. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say that the reason why is because pretty much throughout the Resident Evil franchise, they kind of bring him back every now and again, but it's solely so you can stomp his face in, and he's like, oh, I did this dastardly thing, but you're going to kick my ass before it kicks off.
But he holds precedence over every villain ever, is that after you beat him, he comes back. He's always there.
A lot of villains do that. Bowser
yeah,
does
Absolutely.
that.
It's almost like the formula.
I think that there's other guys that deserve on the list. I just say no.
Oh, he's
Sorry.
the bottom. He's the bottom of my.
Okay,
it gets
well,
better.
Matt's saying no. A part of me really wants to be intrigued and put Albert Wesker on this list, but for exactly the point that Matt stipulated. All he does is gets his ass whipped. There's no cliffhanger at the end of a game that says, oh, hey, yeah, this is the world-ending scenario. You have to play the next
That's
game
the
in order
problem
to
with the
figure it
Resident
out.
Evil's franchise.
And Resident Evil has just gone so far off the reservation, it's not even funny. And for that, I'm unfortunately going to have to say no.
Poor Wesker.
Michael,
You got one you want to say?
who's your guy?
All right, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with my number one. We'll go with Psychro from Earthworm Jim.
That's your number one?
That's if I had to go right now on my list. Yeah, that's. what I'm
Needless
going
to
with.
say, this isn't going to be the brightest list in the world.
What a great character, though.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Psychro, although I have a fondness for Earthworm Jim, it was like one of my first video games on the Sega.
What a great game.
I just think that there's a lot of other people who deserved on the list that aren't Psychro. And like Earthworm Jim is an earthworm, he's a crow, it's funny. But that game had, that was part of that whole just 90s Revolution franchise where you're just putting out the most ridiculous crap you can. It was like at the same time as Freakazoid.
Super Suit Extraordinaire,
So,
Freakazoid.
yeah, I would have to say no.
You know what? I want to take this to a vote. I'm going to say yes, because I want to know Craig's feelings on this. Craig, you're the most logical one out of all of us.
See, it's tough because I have an Earthworm Jim villain on my list, and he is my favorite. And you picked my least favorite villain. I mean, I love him, but he is my. I'm going to say no. He is my least favorite villain only because of how you have to beat him. It's like Wesker. I'm just saying. I'm going to go back to one of my choices and be like,
That's
you
what
know
I did the first time. That's what I did. Yeah, changed my whole voting structure because of one point somebody made. Like, you know what? You're right. My nomination is I have to kind of set it up. Here you are. You're just minding your own business, walking down a hallway or crawling down a vent or something like that, and all of a sudden the light flickers and there's this creepy ass little girl a little way away from you, and then it does it again, and then
about fear,
and then she's right there and you're dead. Alma from Fear.
Yes,
from Fear
yes.
is
I can't say
insanely
yes enough.
a little girl with psychic powers who oh my god, what an amazing character.
Nothing creeps me out in this world more than little girls and spiders. And I could not play the game Fear at dark.
I can't play it, period. This shit is terrifying.
Alma terrifies me. And for that, because of the fact she's paranormal and because of the fact she just pops up wherever the hell she wants to.
He
And she
just fucks
she
you like
fucks
you're
you.
having a great time. You got live, like you got ammo. Everything's going swell, and Alma pops up and fucks up your universe.
I do have to scratch her off. She is on my list.
Yeah, she was on my list too.
She's number 3, not number 1.
Yeah, Alma, definitely. Unanimous, right?
Yeah.
Am I right,
She's
guys?
on the list. Yeah, she's going on
How
there.
are you supposed to defeat? It's almost like the bad guy from what's
You don't. That's what makes a great villain. You don't defeat
the
her.
bad guy from Warcraft. What's his name? He sits on a frozen throne and
Oh, you're talking about the
controls-
Lynch King.
Yeah, and he controls the universe through his mind. That's insane.
Cameron, who's your guy?
Well, I've got a nice little list here. Let's start off with GLaDOS
Yeah.
from Portal.
Oh, I don't even need to go. Yes, absolutely.
For those of y'all who didn't play Portal, it's a
sh-
puzzle-based game,
GLaDOS,
first-person shooter.
she's a mad woman with sass. If you don't know what makes her amazing, you haven't been gaming long.
Yeah, this was a triumph.
GLaDOS is.
I do what I
Portal
want
is
because
one of the
I
most groundbreaking games that was ever made.
And it was built as a tech demo. It was somebody fucking around on their lunch break, and it became this. It single-handedly sold
Sensation.
the Orange Box.
Yeah.
The Orange Box was a great collection. It had Team Fortress, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2.
Well, Team Fortress was.
Well, I don't know if it's single-handedly with Half-Life.
No, but it's one of the greatest video game compilations. You can pick it up for $20. It still trades in at GameStop for $15, for Christ's sakes, and it's been out for 7 years.
I'm gonna say GLaDOS from Portal is a yes for me.
Yeah, I'm not really big on that one. I agree. I'm going with yes. I'm not.
Mad
Votes
woman
really
with
not.
sass. You
Votes
did
really
it.
not needed here. So we're gonna go probably 3 for 3, Matt.
We'd all date her.
I already said yeah.
Craig, who's your guy?
My next would be Mother Brain from Metroid, an AI created by the Chozo who wants to reset the universe. Now, if anyone's ever seen this character, it's a giant brain with one giant eye.
See,
You know what, man? I'm not gonna. I didn't have her on my list, and when I think about like the rules to this competition, I'm gonna say resetting the universe is pretty dastardly, even though she gets killed by a chick with a Mega Man arm. You know,
But the fact that the
no.
AI is created, everything you fight in Metroid is created by this one brain.
See,
Sure,
this
yeah.
is the part where it bothers me. Well, I don't want to say it bothers me. I'm not a big Metroid guy, so I can't say passionately yes or passionately no.
Mega she,
I mean,
Mega woman.
all right. I'm just going to go
There's not many
ahead.
brains you can beat.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Mother Brain makes it.
We need a tie vote. Mike, yes or no?
Have you ever played Metroid?
Not yes.
I'm talking
yes,
regular NES.
Yes.
That's the hardest one.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Oh,
I hate being the deciding vote, but I'm not
I hope
a.
anyone listening is on my side for these characters.
He's on Facebook. It's Michael Bell Jr. Feel free to send all of your hate mail
Send
towards
it
him.
in. I'll even
You
respond.
drive a Charger?
Challenger.
Challenger.
Oh,
What's
it's
the
the same
license
thing.
plate number?
Just like earlier, no comment.
all right, Mike.
Who's your guy?
Little underrated. I'll go ahead and say it right now. But Bebop.
Yes, great
Oh,
choice.
Bebop and Rocksteady. Oh, yeah.
Just Bebop
Oh,
from Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project.
Oh, great game. Great side scroll.
You can't have Bebop without Rocksteady.
Yes, you can, because you fight them separately.
You do.
They're separate villains. They work together in the TV show, not in the video game.
They also work together in Turtles in Time.
Oh, they do in Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
Arcade.
You fight them on the train in the Old West.
All of video games.
Which came first, Manhattan or Time? It's Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time.
Turtles in
It was an
Time.
arcade cabinet back in the late 80s.
I have to say nine. Yet nanka.
Little shout out for the game, the Stop and Play on 19 Newport Richie. They do have it there. 25
Yes.
cents to play.
What do you
and
sucking
I
that guy
had
off
it-
or something? What is it?
No,
No, I dated his daughter. He's a porn star now.
I had it. I had it downloaded on the 360 that I sold your girlfriend to give to her kid. Turtles in Time Remastered is on that
yes,
360.
it is on that 360.
Yeah, it's one of those games that stands the test of time. And for that, if you'd said Bebop and Rocksteady, you would have gotten a yes from me. But
It's like saying Team Rocket. You can't say Jesse.
yeah, you can't say Jesse or James.
gotta
You have to
have
say Team Rocket.
But I chose one because you fight them separately. And
in the
that
game
cannonball
mentioned-
chain,
in the
that
game,
thing
he
just
specifically
Oh, yeah.
mentioned
pissed
the
me
game.
off to no end.
So he's basically saying Rock's Bebop from that game.
Right.
Correct. Okay, that's what I've been doing too.
All right,
Matt, who's your guy?
I'm gonna have to. You know what? No, I'm not gonna do that to you. Because I know that you
You
want
better
him,
leave
so,
that one for
yeah.
me.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that there's a guy who you're plugging along, you're playing your game, You're beating up all the other guys like Zangief and Blanca and stuff. But there's always that one cocksucker with a stupid telepathy move.
M. Bison.
M. Bison, man.
Dictator. And let's just say he gets a yes for me just because of that.
He gets a yes for me because Raul Julia in Street Fighter the movie, he was the only good part about that entire movie.
Sir.
Except he didn't have a sword fight.
But
like
M Bison definitely is a yes. He's the ultimate fuck you guys.
he wants to be dictator of the world,
Yes.
and he wears the outfit to match his goal.
Oh, he's like crazy buff, like North Korean dictator style, man. He's awesome.
I know the vote's not needed. I'm going to go with yes too, because when you can put Stalin and Hitler together in one character.
That's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
Bison.
that was Stalin meets Hitler meets Mussolini.
I do have on this list Nazis from every
meets the
modern
bad
warfare.
guy from Bloodsport. That's all I got.
Bloodsport, absolutely. Great choice.
All right, Cameron, who's your guy?
M. Bison's a great choice.
Well, it's one of these games that started off, it was released right up against Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It developed a cult following, so they made a sequel.
This is who I was going to say.
Oh, this is a good choice.
The villain that I am choosing is the big bad from Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack.
Handsome Jack, it's a yes.
Let me just tell you a little bit of something about Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack has a diamond pony, not a diamond-covered pony.
Is it diamond or crystal?
It's
diamond.
a diamond pony. And at one point, he's sitting there and he just taps into your little
He does it all the time. Yeah, he just talks to
and
you.
he's just like, "Oh, hey guys, I just bought a diamond pony. Yeah, I don't know what to name it. I was gonna name it Shit for Brains after you, but that just doesn't roll off the tongue. Oh, I got it. Hey, Butt Stallion.
Butt Stallion.
Butt Stallion.
Butt Stallion, come here, girl.
Handsome Jack for being a dickhead. Handsome Jack for being a liar and taking credit for finding the vault in Borderlands 1 after you did 80 hours of hard work to get it your goddamn self. Handsome Jack is the guy.
All of
What
my
say you?
yeses. All of my yeses, yeah.
Yes, that's a really good choice. Moving on to my choice, correct? You made the list? I'm going to go with Necromorphs, Dead Space. Can't be killed, but it is fun to slow them down. But they cannot be killed. That is a villain to not be trifled with.
I actually got into Dead Space by watching all the animated features.
Which is how I did as well.
And then I watched all the trailers, and then I played a little bit of the game, but I don't really play those games very well. But from all the story content, which is what's important, and all those other things, I didn't have them on my list, but I'm going to say yes to the Necromorphs.
The Necromorphs are going to make this list the same way the Xenomorphs are going to make the movie list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely, the Necromorphs are in, without a doubt. 200 different ways to kill somebody, in Dead Space 1, it's a no-brainer. The Necromorphs are the biggest bad. They're the hardest to kill, and they're the ones that'll really just piss you off on a
And they
Saturday.
really frighten you, because playing old school shooter
they
Resident
suck.
Evil arcade, when they pop up and you
House of Dead.
House of the Dead, you'd shoot out of fear. You're like, why am I afraid? It's not real.
Yeah, but it's fucking with you because you're having mental breakdowns while it's happening and stuff. Like the artifact's fucking with you.
You had the same reaction to the Necromorphs as you had to Alma playing Fear.
Oh yeah,
you dreaded them showing up,
and you never had enough ammo.
Yeah, and you could just never kill them.
Most of the characters at Quake as well. I mean, Quake had a lot of.
No way, man! I think the Necromorphs are way. It's like basically playing Space the Thing.
You're talking. You're talking about a game further ahead. Quake had some very creative characters. Villains.
Quake did, and then
their toys were awesome because a lot of them were die-cast and heavy.
Just projectiles to your brother.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
All right, so Necromorphs in. Mike, you got a guy?
Yeah. I know you don't like the word sleeper. I know you hate that word. But T-Rex from Dino Crisis. Not a lot of emotion as I expected. But when
make a case, man.
When it pans out. When the game pans out and it has you anticipating something,
right?
And then here you are, Dino Crisis. There's going to be a big, and then T-Rex.
You're on the edge of your seat the entire time, waiting for T-Rex to come and fuck your shit up.
And it either eats you or passes you. The game decides. So,
I think T-Rex is a good choice. Only because I don't think he would contend to what we have on the list so far. Because a Necromorph would just chew it at the legs and be done with it. But
as far as hard, I do like the way that you put that out there is that it was one of the more difficult things to deal with because you had no decision power in whether or not it ate you.
Absolutely.
And you know what, man? I'm gonna say that if it weren't for trying to battle these against other supervillains, it would have been an absolute yes, because out of frustration.
Absolutely.
But because we have to match these guys up with other people, and I just don't think like a T-Rex is going to match up well
T-Rex
against like
can't
the
even
God
salute,
Killer.
man.
I'm saying
I think T-Rex is one of those fringe guys. T-Rex is one of those guys that we could pass through right now and we could take out at the end of it when we're doing rapid fire.
yeah, that's possible.
For that, I'm going to say yes for T-Rex because you can haul off and you can compete. If this was a T-Rex that shot laser beams out of its eye like in Far Cry Blood Dragon, that's a whole different story. I mean, Dino Crisis was one of those arcade games. A lot of people played it. But T-Rex is one of these guys that I'm putting a little asterisk next to because if I find something better, I'm kicking it off the list.
I have a yes for it.
All right, it's on the list.
So T-Rex has made it, surprisingly.
Not only because it was a creative choice, but also, it's a great character. I mean, the T-Rex, when you play that game, it's just like, is he around? Where's he at? What's he doing?
It was like when you faced off against the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, the Super Nintendo game.
Oh, fuck.
When you're walking through Isla Nublar and you just didn't know when that son of a bitch was going to come up.
I liked it in Sega, when you're walking past the waterfall. If you don't do it at the right time, he just comes through and hits you. Ugh.
I hated that shit.
I can't jump high enough.
I hated that shit at the ride at Islands of Adventure. I mean, you knew it was coming. You knew it was going to poke its head through before you made the big drop on the ride. But yeah,
you imagine
you sat there and you
spider?
dreaded it. Oh, fuck
In the head a lot, man. Like I don't have the timing required to do that. So it's my turn.
Man, who's your guy?
Oh yeah, man. I think I've got a good one here. So it's probably one of the most expansive, and still I've been playing it like not recently, but I've been playing it in the past, and kind of went back to it. And the graphics don't hold up, but the storyline still kind of does. And when you're talking about like cataclysmic event, like supernatural villain, like over the top awesome Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII.
That's a great choice. Final Fantasy VII is the best game they have ever come out with in their franchise.
Just so we're clear, just so we're clear, that's a yes from me.
Yeah.
Yes for me too.
Yes.
Sephiroth is on the list.
I'd also like to say that I have a villain from a Final Fantasy game, and it is the worst Final Fantasy game I have ever witnessed.
9.
No, close, because I like 9's storyline.
Cameron, who's your guy?
See, I'm going to just step out on a limb here. This is going to get shot down real quick.
Dr. Robotnik.
But my guy is Michael Vick from Madden 2004.
Yes.
100 speed, 100 elusiveness.
Unless we had nothing but puppies on that list, we ain't making it.
100 pit bull murdering. I mean, Michael Vick was a son of a bitch to play against.
He did suck, man.
And if you weren't the first one to grab him on an online game, you were fucked.
Well, he will not make the list only because he is not a villain. He's not a
Oh no, he's totally a villain.
Yeah.
Not in the game, he's not, because he's a hero at the time.
If you weren't a Falcons fan, he was a villain.
Dying to play as Michael Vick.
That's because he's Division.
That's exactly right.
No. What do you say, Craig?
My next one would be, let's see, what do I have here? Dracula from Castlevania. Now, if you've ever been a vampire fan, he is a badass. He's a badass character from Castlevania. But the reason I picked him mostly is because look at Dracula and know that Edward Cullen is simply not cutting it. This guy is a great character, and Castlevania is one of the most popular games ever made. The music alone.
Oh yeah, it spurred an entire tour, Video Games Live, from Steven Tyler's cousin.
Shout out to Rook Murphy. That's why I picked Dracula, for Rook Murphy. Big Castlevania.
No, you should have picked a ginger for Rook.
Ginger for Rook. I don't think they make it. Bad guy gingers that aren't in real life.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the fence about that. Like, I remember Castlevania and the stupid whip motion and like trying to get the bats, and like the game was very frustrating. But
think about the time.
The villain itself and the overall storyline. I don't know, man. I'm gonna pass and see what's
Dracula
going on.
had the power to suck out your life force in that game. Just
Yeah,
to be
well,
like,
so
give
did
me your life.
so
I'll
did
replenish.
Dante in Devil May Cry.
I'm just saying he could take on a T-Rex any day of the week.
because Dracula is one of these common villains that he gets covered in all mediums.
But I'm talking about specifically the Castlevania.
You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna say yes.
The storyline for the Dracula in Castlevania.
All right,
and his powers. I mean, he
All
was so
right.
hard
Good
to
point.
beat. It was bullshit.
Good point. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Dracula through.
I mean, let's say if you picked Robotnik. Robotnik was easy to beat until you got to like the last 3 levels of Sonic 2. You know, the last 3 couple scenes.
Yeah. No, without a doubt.
All right, Mike, who's your guy?
All right, probably not going to be a popular choice again. I'm going with Kane from Command and Conquer.
It's a good shoot. That's a good character.
To me, you hate him, you like him, but you hate him because he always popped up at the most inopportune times
I'd love to hate him.
to let you know how bad you sucked.
Great character.
I mean, they built him up over 2 games, and then they finally gave him his game in Command and Conquer 3.
Red Alert.
No,
it's two.
Kane's Wrath.
Kane's Wrath.
That's right.
Yeah, it was Command and Conquer, Red Alert, and then it was Kane's Wrath. I don't like the RTS villains because you're playing against a computer that's just going to do the exact opposite of what you're doing.
And
like
he
if
doesn't
you
have
if
that
you
much-
issue infantry, they issue heavy machinery.
He
just to
doesn't
try to
issue
fuck
that
you.
much like of a threat, like an imminent. Like
Yeah.
he's got his armies and stuff, but he's not active. Like you don't.
And it's
play
not
him.
like he's unbeatable. I
Right.
mean, you could totally take him down. All you have to do is just do one move earlier. It's just a big game of chess that you're playing with him. It's not like where you have to figure out tendencies on like Sephiroth, or you have to, try to outwit GLaDOS with what you're doing. For me, Kane gets a no.
So that's
Just
Kane
because,
down, yeah.
just because it's not that much of a threat.
So, in the interest of time, we're going to keep pushing forward. That makes it my turn. So, I'm going to actually stick in the same platform, but I'm going to make a different case. I'm going to tell you why. When you're playing StarCraft?
Yeah.
StarCraft, great.
You have the Proteus, you have the Marines, and you have the Zerg, right? Well, if a wave of Marines comes at you, just mow them down. It's not a big deal, right? The Proteus are gigantic, and they suck, and they're just sitting there, and they're just whittling away, right? And then you look over, and there's like 50 fucking Zerg on the bottom of your screen just
Very
chipping away
clever.
at your base, coming through and shooting through. I nominate the entire Zerg clan from
They're the
StarCraft.
Marines of that video game. They're first in, last out.
They're it's an insect species that goes through and just kind of grows and grows and grows. And I like their hive constructs where they go through and everything's like kind of living like they're basically like if aliens were on a game and they didn't suck. It would be like that. They have different classes of insect that go do the things they need to do. But the thing is, they have a populate bonus, and there's always more of them, and they're not easy to kill.
For the same reason that the Necromorphs are on this list, I would say yes, but we already have something like this.
It's not exactly like that. The necromorphs are a creature that evolves out of dead people. It needs dead flesh. The Zerg just are insects. They just populate and populate and populate.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say no because it's too similar. I mean, you can't. It would be like I'm scratching the Flood off of my list because we have the Necromorphs on there.
I think they're different things. I think they're all different things.
It's just something that overwhelms you, which is exactly what
There's
the
16
Necromorphs did.
spots too. We put T-Rex from Dino Crisis on the list.
Yeah,
you know
he's
what I
a
mean?
fringe guy. He's gonna get replaced in rapid fire.
Yeah, but now you're running out of content too, and when you're thinking about really good villains, you're talking about having to face this. If you're facing the Proteus, no big deal. Facing Marines, no big deal. Facing the Zerg, I have to move, and I have to move now.
When you're relying on something and you're going against something that multiplies, it's something that's hard to beat in a matter of time. I'm going to go with yes.
That's up to you, Craig.
It's a tough one because I like the creativity around the choice. I do like the fact that they are hard as balls to get rid of. So I'm just going to say strength in numbers and waves. It's a yes for me.
Oh wow! So by the skin of its teeth, the Zerg get in. Cameron, who's your guy, man?
I'm a big fan of cinematic video games.
So am I.
You give me anything from Naughty Dog, I'll haul off and I'll play it. I'll buy it. I'll be that guy
Please tell
for
me it's
weeks.
not Cortex.
No. No, so I'm going to go to a different studio. It's actually a studio that just announced that they were shuttering their doors. I'm going to go with Zachary Comstock from BioShock Infinite.
That is a great choice.
Now, when it comes to Comstock, he runs the airborne town in which you're in. And then, at the end of the game, it turns out that Comstock is you. You are Comstock from a different dimension.
I love games that are mindfucks.
Yes.
games. That's why I love the story so much, because you can be playing a game and at the end of it, you're like, oh man, they have to make a second one because this is how it ended.
Yeah.
I love games like that. He's a yes for me only because it's a great game and that character is a great character because it's you.
I haven't played it, and I don't know a lot about the character. If it goes down to a deciding vote because of the issues that you guys said, what he is and what he does, I'll say yeah. I'll say that's a decent vote.
Great to have on the list.
I mean, I'll be the first one to say he's a fringe guy. He could easily be replaced.
Best choice said so far.
I mean, when it comes to Comstock, he just does everything he can to fuck your day up. He imprisons Elizabeth. He's the one responsible for everything that's come to you
And then
from
you
the
realize
militia.
you're fucking yourself
Yeah.
because you're him.
Yeah. At the end of the game, Elizabeth takes you through all the different dimensions because she's having some kind of a malfunction in her brain.
It's the only game I
and then
ever
it turns
played.
out that Elizabeth is your daughter, and Comstock is what happens when Elizabeth dies as a child. You become this evil, menacing son of a bitch. That's why I pick Comstock, because you waited through the crap that was BioShock Infinite, and you got to this payoff. And when you got to the payoff, you were a little sad, but then you were just like, holy shit, it was just like in Infamous, when it turns out that you are Kessler from a different timeline. Brilliant.
Incredibly
Yeah.
brilliant, I agree.
Craig, who's your guy?
Mine would be Tank from Left 4 Dead. Anyone who's played Left 4 Dead 4, or Left 4 Dead, you hear horns, the earth shakes, and then this big brooding beast who's just bulky and massive, and he walks like a Kerchak from Tarzan. But I'm going to pick him because he crashes through walls, and he throws cars and concrete slabs, and just destroys survivors. I think he's something not to be trifled with.
See, if there was only one tank in Left 4 Dead, and that was the way you got to the end of every scenario.
He's the toughest to take down.
He is the toughest to take down, but he's not the guy pulling the strings.
That's true, and he's also not invulnerable.
Yes, you can kill him. You can kill him very easily. Just avoid his running barrel punches and just load his back with bullets.
It's like
That's all it was.
If you want to picture what he looks like, he's like a humanoid Donkey Kong on steroids.
So it's basically like the brutes from Gears of War.
Yeah, he was.
Similar.
He was like the. Oh man, why am I blanking on this? He was like the bad guys from Halo that had the plasma sword.
Oh, the brutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the brutes. Yeah. But he was like that, as long as
the
you
elites,
avoided,
they're elites, sorry.
as long as you avoided the elites' sword slash, you could kill them.
They just had
And
to
that's
run around
exactly
in a
what it
circle and
was.
shoot him with the
If
assault
you had
rifle.
said the witches from Left 4 Dead,
I thought about
where
that.
you couldn't put the light on them and you couldn't make any noise around them, otherwise they would one-hit kill you, I would put the witches through, but not the tanks.
I thought about that, but for a bracket, you're going to want something that is beatable. Because what's the point of bracket if you have a psychic girl who's
what's
pretty much...
what's the point of putting it on the bracket if you can't have
all
a
of the
cohesive-
categories have people like this.
Yeah, I mean, what if you couldn't? Why would there be a cohesive argument against them?
Well, then I'm going to pick
if
my
I'm-
next one, and you guys are going to say no.
If
but I'm still gonna pick 'em.
if I'm matching up GLaDOS against a tank, I'm taking GLaDOS in a heartbeat because she'll issue turrets, she'll issue everything that just come and just fuck this thing up.
That's true.
I don't want cannon fodder in the final 16 for the video games. I want to have a legitimate.
Yeah.
I want to have a 3-hour conversation. I want to be fighting with you vehemently to try to get my guy through. If we match up GLaDOS against a tank, it'll just be, she drops turrets, game over. And that's the end of it. That's like a 1-16 matchup, and GLaDOS isn't a number 1 seed.
All right. So that's down. Mike, do you have a guy?
I do, and not really saying I'm the oldest here because I don't want to.
You are the oldest
Thank
one
you.
here. You've also sucked
Yes,
his dick.
my lord! When I was a kid, we had to walk to school uphill both
Just put your
ways.
teeth in, say your name.
With a boner, in the snow, with a
Through
boner.
glass.
Yeah, all of it.
Wind burn.
I had a couple Mortal Kombat guys on here.
All right, hold on. Before you say your name, if Tank gets disqualified, I don't want to hear Goro come out of your mouth.
No. It better be Shao Kahn.
It's gotta
Shang
be Shao.
Tsung.
Ah,
No.
no way, man.
No.
Shao
And it's-
Kahn is so much better.
Nope. It's Shao Kahn.
Shang Tsung's awesome.
So
He's
Shao
great.
Kahn's on the list.
Yeah, we'll agree with that. He was another one.
Shang Tsung is great, though. Let's not dismiss this. We still have to vote on his name.
He's got a boss, and he beats his ass whenever he wants to.
Yeah,
It's Shao Kahn.
we're not even going to have a debate about Shao Kahn. We're kind of just hijacking Mike's pick, and we're just going to replace that Shang Tsung with
Shang
Shao
Tsung's
Kahn.
awesome. He's a sorcerer with martial arts.
He takes
come on.
souls.
And he's got a boss who beats his
But
ass.
he's a bitch.
A villain always has a higher up, unless you're like this master.
Unless you're Shao Kahn.
True.
Yeah, if you're Shao Kahn, it's over. I mean, we all saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
I would pick him.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to pick a fringe guy.
Cool.
I'll set it up like I do a lot. And here you are, you're running through the woods, and you're trying to find this stupid fucking, it's like 7 or 8 pieces of paper. And if the villain gets even close to you, you die. If you look at him, you die. His whole mission is to find you, snatch you, and take you to the no-pants zone.
Slender
I say
Man.
Slender Man.
Slender Man is a great choice. I'm going to say yes immediately.
I'll say yes to Slender Man.
That's
a great
resounding. You're going to get a yes, too.
All right.
Cameron, who's your pick?
So my guy, and it falls under one of these very cinematic video games, and it's you spend a lot of time just doing nothing, and it's just an interactive story. I would say the Origami Killer from Heavy Rain. Ooh. He makes you cut off your finger to try to find your kid, and then it turns out, depending on which way you go, that you're the Origami Killer.
I do like the mindfuck twist. I do like the story. I thought that the game was pretty cool, different. I thought it was the only thing at the time that I played that it ever felt like that. But in a bracket, I don't necessarily see you like it's like, oh, the Origami Killer. It's like I don't know if he's going to battle well. So I'll say no. I love the pick. I think the pick is a great pick.
It is a great pick. I'm going to say no as well. What is your reason for saying no, Matt?
It's just because of the bracket. I don't think it's going to match up well. I love the pick. I like the guy.
Against
Yeah.
T-Rex.
The Origami Killer can...
I think we've limited that everybody would be great against T-Rex right now.
I'm going to say T-Rex versus Gary Oak.
The Origami Killer
Mind you,
versus
Gary Oak
Gary
has
Oak.
6 Pokemon. He comes with an arsenal of creatures.
Right. Okay, so Craig, who's your guy?
My next pick, not very popular. A lot of people don't like this character, but I'm going to say Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid.
See, my next one was going to be a different villain from Metal Gear.
I think that there's a lot of like Psycho Mantis or Big Boss or somebody like that could easily make that
I've got
list.
Big
let's
Boss
just say
circled
this.
and
Why
starred
she's-
right now.
Why she's my favorite? Because in the game of Metal Gear Solid, she broke Snake without laying a fucking finger on him.
In the same instance of having
And
to like
that's
you
a
have
true
her-
villain.
But here's the thing.
Like the Joker. You don't have to touch him to get
How many games was she in?
1 or 2.
How many games has Big Boss been in?
He's been in a lot.
All of them.
But
All of
what I'm
them.
saying is, I picked her for the sake of the name of the villain. I think she was a great villain.
See, there was only a
That's why I
handful
said
of
it would be
people
a
she could
no.
go up against.
That's why I say it would be a no. Absolutely. But, it's a bracket. You can take the risks. You weigh them.
Yeah?
I'm gonna say no, just because Big
She's
Boss,
hot, though. She's sexy. She's
Big
blonde.
Boss, and Psycho Mantis, I think would be up on my list ahead of her.
I agree.
So,
I'll
Well, now I'm not even going to nominate Big Boss. Somebody else is going to have to do that. It's too obvious of a pick.
well, I actually have Psycho Mantis on my list,
Okay.
but I'm not going to nominate it now, just because.
Just nominate Big Boss, then we'll put him on
Yeah.
the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Boss is on the list.
Sorry.
Mikey, who's your guy? Or gal?
Not a very popular game. It was the first game of its kind to really produce the serial killer type violence.
I see where you're going with this.
I'm gonna go with Lionel Starkweather from Manhunt.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess he's in.
Yeah.
Easy day.
Great character.
Yes.
Great character. Anyone who's never played Manhunt, play it, and you'll understand why.
I mean, a guy that can
fucked up
negotiate with the government to be given free reign to death row inmates. First off, that's a Jedi son of a bitch right there. And second off, he puts them all into an arena, and he just goes, "Okay, last one standing gets their freedom."
We've got 14 picks on the board, and we got 2 picks left plus the flash round. So it's an evil supervillain draft. So everybody thinks they've come up with the most evil, like I said, Owlman, Slenderman. Everything thinks they have the most evil, but I have the most evil pick of all. Mecha Hitler.
I've got 13
from Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein 3D.
That's Mecha Hitler, man.
Mecha Hitler from Wolfenstein 3D is great. That is on my list. That was my next one, but I'm going to have to change it. Mecha Hitler's awesome only because it's a video game where you get to play Hitler. You get to fight Hitler, and you have to burn his face off. Really, basically, you have to just beat him with flames. Great character.
So is that a yes or no?
That's a yes for me.
Cameron?
Because he's on my list. I'm biased.
My family hates Hitler. So I'm going to say Mecha Hitler deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, Sprechen Sie Dick. I'm going to say yes.
Sprechen Sie Dick.
Yes.
All right, Cameron, 16. Who's your guy?
Again, keeping with the cinematics, Catherine Marlowe from Uncharted 3.
Be a no for me.
Catherine Marlowe has been following Drake his entire life because she knows that he can find all the different treasures, even when he was a kid. It's just Catherine Marlowe is like.
What are the parameters of this villain?
She started from the bottom too.
What are her?
She started from the bottom. Now she's here.
But what are the parameters of her? What can she do that is
New World Order.
Oh, okay.
She can turn everybody against one person.
So she's the power basically of manipulation.
Well, and it wasn't even a power.
Yeah,
it was just an influence.
I think she should.
It wasn't even power though. It was influence. Like, oh hey, I know I don't like you, but I don't like him. I want to see him dead.
As much as I
and
enjoy
I will pay you
words,
to kill him.
As long as I'm still biased on it because I do enjoy villains that are not tactical.
Not to mention, she looked like Helen Mirren.
All right, that might be a yes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
I'm going to say no because I think that there's some other like really big guns we could add to this list to really shake up a tournament. I think that's what you want to do. I like the pick. I like the character. Like I said, it's like the Origami Killer. It makes it very difficult because you have to say that was a really good villain. But it's a battle, and it's like a final. It's the 16 seed, a tournament. So I have to say no, just on the basis of even though if it was like political intrigue and stuff like that, you could battle against like Lex Luthor or something. But even so, he still has like the superpower suits and stuff like that. So just off the basis of the tournament, I say no. But it's still a great pick. Craigie?
Just because he's a part of the personal history of most gamers, I'm picking the game Golden Axe, and I'm picking Death Adder. Now, Death Adder is named after a very venomous snake, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. And he's not a snake, he's a barbarian with a giant axe and a helmet, very Skyrim looking. And you really couldn't fight him unless you had enough quarters in your pocket to play this guy. Storming his castle cost me $7 once in quarters. But the reason he's my favorite is because of his quote. Right before you fight him, he goes, "I killed your family!" And he swings his axe, and you're just like, alright, this is it. This is the end. And he's boss. He takes up at least 90% of the screen.
He's just a giant brute, right?
I actually don't know the game, so I'm going to say no.
The giant axe. I mean, his axe is huge. Almost Cooper style on both ends.
Would you say he's like an evil Hercules?
I wouldn't say Gods of War type, but I'd say...
But I mean, like, he's super strong, he's
super strong,
near invulnerable.
Super strong, near invulnerable, unless you have enough specials in Golden Axe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no as well, too, and I just think the knowledge of the game is what
Golden Axe was very, very popular, but...
I still play it, by the way. I play it in my man cave, or I like to call it my smoke room.
See, I see it being just one giant rollover whoever he faces in a bracket. I want to have some legit conversation as to why this person should be on there.
All right, well, let's say this. He was a very inventive villain. Instrumentally, I'd have to say... To take him on, his axe is really... he'd hit you with it.
Is that a no?
Your life totally...
That's a no.
Yeah. All right, so we got to move on now.
No!
You got a guy?
I do. I am
Look at you on your Galaxy.
Yeah.
Looking it up on your phone.
Hey, need some more facts. I'm an honest man. I'm going to go with Fleming from Shadows of the Damned.
No.
No, man.
All right, I got one.
There's obviously one that we are forgetting.
I'm going to say
Yes.
Darth Malik from
No.
Knights of the Old Republic.
That's a no for me, too.
All right, what's your guy? Go on.
Bowser.
Bowser, see, again, Bowser, he breathes flames, he's a giant lizard with a shell, but if he can be beat even by an Italian
A
guy
tiny
with a
wop
mushroom,
plumber.
if he can beat by anyone on Jersey Shore, I'm not taking him. I just can't.
All right, Craig, you got a guy?
Yes. My next would be classic. Well, not really a classic, but Saren from Mass Effect. It's a PC game. Anyone ever play Mass Effect?
Yeah, I have, but I have a better villain for that than him. Yes,
me too.
So I'm going to say no. Mike, you got a guy?
Yeah, I'm going to stay with the same Mario theme. I was going to do it just for shits and gigs, but Mario from Donkey Kong.
I'm just
Donkey Kong Jr., like the old school, like you climb up the ladders kind of deal.
bracket again.
Yes.
I got to say no on the bracket.
Just
Matt,
I'm just going to go ahead and say it since it's already come up. But
the elusive man.
the Reapers from Mass Effect, the giant living ships that come through and destroy universes. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
think that's the guy that we're looking for.
what's our count at now?
We're at 16, so it's rapid fire. If you've got anything, you might as well go. Cameron, you got a rapid fire?
Ganondorf.
Ganondorf is a good choice because he was what I was just about to rapid fire. He is incredibly hard, and he comes with immense power.
Who does he beat out of the list?
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
I thought I had a chance.
All right. Do you have anybody else? Does anybody have
I
anything
have
else?
one more. It may not be a good one, but I'm going to say Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
They built an entire game around him, but he doesn't make it for the exact same reason why Kane doesn't make it.
Agreed. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going to say let's do zombies in the video
No.
games. No. What about the Flood?
I don't think so.
The Flood's a no.
All right. Well, that puts our list at Alma, GLaDOS.
No, Mikey didn't get to make his rapid fire.
All right. Well, then come on now.
And I'm, Joker.
Batman Arkham Asylum,
yes.
Batman Arkham City.
Arkham City.
He took the Titan. He took the Titan serum. He ran half of Arkham City.
He was almost more impactful in Arkham City, and I'm gonna get booed for this, but what he was in the movie.
Boo!
Yeah.
Because he had
actually,
that kind of effect on you.
See,
You can do anything without an actor.
I kind of agree. Plus, he was voiced by Mark Hamill, which
Did the original Joker for the animated
that's
series.
wonderful. And it's just the Arkham games are some of the best games to have come out in the last couple of years. And the Joker being the big bad behind all of it, everybody rallying, just the rallying cry. I mean, come on. Mr. Freeze was on his side. Batman Arkham Origins, you thought it was Black Mask who was running the show, but it turns out it was the fucking Joker just manipulating him.
Now, I have a good one. Now, I know
Wait, hold on a second. We did some voting thing. Come on now. Follow the order. Don't just jump around
But-
like a crazy person with a beard looking like a hobo.
The Joker gave me insight to a really
I don't
good
care.
character.
We got to vote it in. If he's going in, he's going in. And I think he goes over Lionel Manhunt.
I do agree.
Yes.
I do agree.
Now you say your pick.
What about Jafar from Prince of Persia?
No.
Go to hell.
Really? Why? Why not Jafar from Prince of Persia?
All of my hate.
Craig Schuler, if you were listening.
Andrew Ryan, Bioshock. The original.
Nah.
You match him up against Comstock in the first round.
I'm going to say yes to that. That
Yeah,
is actually
if
very
that's your
clever.
pick,
Andrew
anyway.
Ryan created Rapture.
It's a very clever film.
Comstock created...
Alright, so we said our piece. That would be the list, correct?
The list is Alma, GLaDOS, M. Bison, Handsome Jack, Necromorphs, Ganondorf, Sephiroth, Dracula from Castlevania, the Zerg, Andrew Ryan, Shao Kahn, Slenderman, Big Boss, Joker, Mecha Hitler, and the Reapers. Think that's it? Think that's the list.
It's a great list. I think Mecha Hitler should have been replaced, only because, it's Mecha Hitler. But just because he's Hitler, he wins.
So, everybody's always got something they really want to talk about. You got a quick second to say your piece. Mike, you got an agenda?
Regarding,
Just anything you want to talk about.
yeah, anyone here knows that I'm the sports geek, but yeah, that's right. My shadow's bigger. sometimes.
Okay, thank you. Closet full of Peyton Manning jerseys, different teams.
Let's go.
Oh man, I love J.J. Watt.
Go Missouri! Omaha.
J.J. Watt got me a 5th place finish in fantasy football. I'm getting his jersey.
This topic though does affect us here, the Tampa Bay residents. Marty St. Louis, the trade rumors, the interview, Iserman. I can't stand that bastard, but I think he's gone by the trade deadline. I think he's gone by Wednesday.
I'm going to say Stevie Y is the greatest captain to ever lace up for anybody. He's the greatest
hockey player.
The greatest captain, and Marty St. Louis is not acting like a captain.
Okay.
He's got sour. He's pitching a bitch fit because he wasn't the first one picked for Team Canada.
Not the first one. He was picked over an injured player, Stamkos.
The injured player was
everyone
picked
knew
before
was not
him.
going to play.
The injured player was picked before him, and he's pitching a bitch fit because of it.
Let's be totally honest here. I'll take a maybe going to play Stamkos over him any day.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay.
Craig, what's your agenda?
Mine would be science. A lot of people have family, including myself and Cameron. I don't know about you two, but family members who have cancer. Now, scientists use...
Way to bring up the show, buddy.
Scientists use bioelectrical signals to detect early cancer. Now, this happened last month. Now, if you're able to detect early cancer, this is a huge breakthrough in science. Anyone who follows anything science, Scientific America, anything, really. If you can detect it early, you can detect it before you have it. And that's the easiest way to get rid of cancer, and that's my piece. I think it's amazing.
Cameron, what's your agenda?
My agenda is that my weekend's currently being taken up by the final season of Breaking Bad being available on Netflix.
That's awesome.
If you haven't seen it, go ahead, binge watch the entire series. If you have seen it, wow, what
Science,
an ending.
bitch!
Magnets, bitch!
It's probably one of the best shows on TV ever, and Bryan Cranston really knocks it out of the park, and it's a great show, yeah, man.
Matt, what is your agenda?
My agenda is that we put on these episodes for you to enjoy. If you got criticism, if you want to hear us talk about something, you heard us reference it earlier in the show, talk to us about it, leave comments, tell your friends, tell everybody you know that if you're not down with Media Rehab, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!
And by the way, that is MediaRehabMC@gmail.com. That's MediaRehabMC@gmail.com. Leave your comments, concerns, criticisms, whatever. We'll take it. And you know what? If we don't want to take it, fuck you.